The great former Ireland lock will be with us for commentary and build up to this massively anticipated game. But delighted to say alongside me to talk about the significance of this occasion, the chief rugby correspondent at the Daily Telegraph, Gavin Mez. Gav, great to see you.
Chris, always a pleasure. Well, what a night we've got.
Doesn't take much to drag you across the Irish Sea, does it? Especially when Ireland are playing South Africa.
Yeah, this is just one of the games I've really been looking forward to this autumn. I think we've had a really compelling autumn series, but to have, we had England All Blacks last Saturday. This, to me, is the game of the weekend. And, we've got a real sense of a rivalry here that's built up over the last 5 years or so. Ireland won 4 of the last 5. Remarkably, Rassie Erasmus has yet to win in Dublin with the South African team. They have got something to prove, as do Ireland. A lot of narrative around, is this an ageing squad? Are they not quite as good as they were in 23? And can Andy Farrell begin this sort of evolution of this side towards the 27 World Cup? And tonight I think we're going to get a real sense of where both teams are.
Yeah, it's set up perfectly, Gav. There is so much to talk about to set this fixture up. But just on the significance of this one, you mentioned England, New Zealand last weekend. That felt England's defining game of the autumn. They got through it. Scotland, maybe that was New Zealand, maybe it was Argentina. Either way, they didn't manage to beat one of those two heavyweights. But for Ireland, yes, they played the All Blacks in Chicago. They played Australia here. This is the game Ireland fans would have circled. Didn't get a chance to go to Chicago, or not many of them would have made it across to the States. But this is the one the Dublin crowd have had in their diary for ages.
Absolutely, Chris. And I think the point you made, the game against the All Blacks in Chicago, it was a very sort of undercooked Ireland team. They were just reassembling really post-Lions for a lot of the Leinster players. And then we've had a, indifferent performance against Japan. I thought we started to see Ireland really attack, getting back into their attacking shapes and some of their better aspects of their play that we saw in 23 returning. But now, they'll have been in camp now 4 or 5 weeks. There are no excuses. This is an Ireland team, a very experienced side. Some very interesting selections, like Sam Prendergast has sort of dominated the narrative again this week, but a very young and experienced 10, but a guy who they clearly believe his ceiling is very, very high in terms of what he can do for this side. But it's really, tonight, it's going to be up to a lot of very familiar names that you'll have seen doing the job for the Lions in Australia. Andy Farrell, we've seen him quite punchy the last 2 weeks. He's been really getting at his players, telling them about the standards, what's good enough, what isn't good enough. And I think he will be expecting a hugely physical performance. We know they have to do that against South Africa, but it's all about intent tonight, and I really expect Ireland to come out flying.
Under 40 minutes to go till kick-off. Ireland against South Africa in the Autumn Nations Series. Chris Jones here with you in Dublin. Donncha O'Callaghan will be alongside us for commentary. The Grand Slam winning second row. Gavin Mez from the Telegraph, chief rugby correspondent, with us now on 5 Sports Extra. And Gav, you know Andy Farrell well. You collaborated with him on the bestseller, his brilliant autobiography, which is out now at all good book suppliers. This is a challenge. It's a fascinating time for him in this Ireland team, because he's had success, back-to-back Six Nations titles, but it wasn't the fact that he went off to the Lions. All his staff went off to the Lions. His players all went off to the Lions. They had a really low-profile tour of Europe, didn't they? Whereas England, yes, they lost players and staff to the Lions, but they went and won in Argentina and brought through a cohort of players who have really added to England's depth. So what England got out of that summer tour compared to what Ireland got out of their summer tour is night and day. Farrell's got to come back. He's got to reintegrate his Lions and try and build depth, even though it feels as if he's picking up from March, whereas Steve Borthwick was sort of picking up from July, wasn't he?
Out of sight, out of mind. England were building momentum. They got their coaching team, added 2 new coaches to the backroom staff. As you say, Andy Farrell's whole focus really from January has been on the Lions. He, more than anyone else, knowing him well now, his thing will be no excuses. He sets this tone. When they went to Chicago, and I think that was really what annoyed him about the performance against the All Blacks, is that, you could have pointed a number of reasons why they wouldn't be ready for it, but he wanted and felt that they had got to a good place in training that week, but it didn't deliver on the pitch. I think what you've seen, I saw a big step up against Australia last weekend. It was much more of the the Ireland side of 23 would always get off, when they're at their best, they got off to a flying start, take the lead, dominate. And that's what they did against Australia. And it was a tired Australian side at the end of a very, very long international season for them. But still, you know, they have big athletes. Ireland dominated the aerial contest. And that's part of what I'm really interested tonight to see, is how Ireland's attack evolves. Because we've been a lot of talk about their multi-phase attack that was so prominent and so effective in 23 is now... the game has moved on a little bit, and it's a little bit more about not having the ball, playing these, box kicking, winning the ball back, counter-attacking from broken field play.
And playing out of shape a bit.
Playing out of shape. And I think that's what Prendergast is giving this team. The way he kicks, his ability to and we saw that against Australia, vary the point of contact, vary where Ireland are going to attack. And I remember in 23 at the World Cup, we spent time with the Ireland team before the South Africa game in the pool match. And I remember speaking to Mike Catt, and it was, it was Rassie 7-1, and it was the blitz defence. And I remember Mike Catt saying, our biggest challenge is to keep them guessing where we're going to come after them. And I have heard whispers of that this week about, everyone knows what an imperious side this South African team is, how physical they are. They can now play the game a number of ways. For me, Ireland's hope tonight is they have got to be high energy, high tempo, win the collisions, but not necessarily look for collisions. They want to play to space where they can and keep South Africa guessing. And I think Prendergast, if he's on top, if he's confident, and Andy Farrell will have been in his ear all week telling him, I've picked you for a reason, I want you to go and be yourself, and I want you to show everyone why I've backed you.
Yeah.
And it's just, in terms of how the side evolves the next 2 years, this really is firing the gun, I think, for Ireland's World Cup evolution. As you say, it's starting later than England's, but it's starting tonight.
Oh, it's so well put. And you mentioned the 10s. It's a good old-fashioned inter-provincial, split the public kind of rivalry. And there's a bit of one going on, not to go back to England, but there's that going on with England, whereas, say, for Scotland, they've got their dominant number 10. But for England, because there are more clubs, it becomes less tribal, doesn't it? Because the England fan base is either don't support a club or would be split between 10 clubs or more.
Yeah.
Whereas in Ireland, you're in your parish, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's proper Munster v Leinster with this Crowley v Prendergast. It could be great for Irish rugby, but it's about Andy Farrell managing them really well, keeping them both engaged and making sure that the team comes first at all times, because it is proper old school Sexton versus O'Gara type of
Humphreys,
Munster.
O'Gara,
And there is
Tony Ward, Ollie Campbell,
absolutely, and there's
back.
real evidence for wherever you want to park your allegiance.
There are, a lot of people will think that Jack Crowley is harshly done by not starting tonight. He is obviously a much more physical player. His defence is not in question, where there has been a question mark over Prendergast's defence. But, as Andy Farrell, I think it was quite a defensive press conference he gave on Thursday, really trying to emphasise what Prendergast can do rather than what he can't. And I think, as you say, hopefully from an Ireland perspective, this rivalry will actually bring the best out of both of them. And I don't think he's made his mind up. He probably sees a very high ceiling with Prendergast, but his game has to evolve, certainly defensively, and at times game management as well. And Crowley, we've seen him back to the form he showed really in 23-24 because of that competition. So you can look at it as it's going to dominate. It divides opinion a little bit between, as you say, the provincial support base, but really, if you look at where Ireland were in 23 going into that World Cup, it was Johnny Sexton or nothing.
Yeah, it's better.
We have got a 25-year-old and a 22-year-old battling it out over the next 2 years.
Yeah,
it's a healthy position.
It's really healthy as long as the team is winning, it's harmonious, and they're being managed well, which was, I know, one of Andy Farrell's super strengths. We'll talk about the box in a sec, Gav, but you refer back to 2023 a fair bit with Ireland. We do that with Ireland more than other countries, don't we? Because of that feeling of where Ireland were in 2023. Grand Slam champions, Sexton swan song, age profile great, cap level great, experience level great, form great, didn't quite happen for them. So there's just this feel around the Aviva, isn't there, around Irish rugby. of what might have been and was that the time, and that again is hugely challenging now for Andy Farrell to park it and to start a new Ireland team, an evolved Ireland team, using the experience but also making sure they're different and not worse than in 2023 tonight and then going forward to the next World Cup.
Yeah, no, it's as you say. I've covered Irish rugby for a long time, and I remember the very dark times. In 23 they were the best team in the world and arguably should have won that World Cup, and maybe they'll never get a better chance. But I think Farrell built a team in 21-20. Ireland weren't in a great place. He was evolving, bringing players through. His big challenge as a coach is, can you go again? And it's, he will point out they don't have the numbers here that you do in France or England, and it's the changes that you have to make are much more, I guess, nuanced. Evolution rather than revolution. It's a cliche, I know, but his philosophy is to bring new players in to an experienced unit that brings the best out of them. We've seen him blood Paddy McCarthy with 2 starts at Loosehead. Really exciting prop coming through, brother of Joe McCarthy. And unfortunately McCarthy's not fit for this series, but he would be missed tonight. So I think you'll start to see 1 or 2 new faces being bled in. But ultimately, Chris, as with the numbers here, you've got to get the best out of this group. And the Ireland players are extremely well managed, and I think that allows them to play later into their 30s and still remain close to their peak. And but as you say, he has to find a way to evolve, and it's a challenge he's going to do. I mean, I think he's very motivated now. You're coming back from the Lions, because that would have dominated his thinking for the last 12 months. Now it is, right, 27. People are writing us off. People think we're aging. People think, we're past our best. But I think there's enough young talent, as not in huge numbers, but he can bleed into the side that will just bring the age profile down and change how they play again as well.
Because let's be honest, Andy Farrell's been around for a while. I know he's not an old man, but because he's so precocious with his rugby career and he started coaching so young, you forget he's been to a World Cup in 15 with England and 19 with Ireland, 23 with Ireland. This will be his 4th World Cup, not to mention the one he went to as a player with England in 07. So he's going to be acutely aware, isn't he, of where Bundee Aki is, where Jamison Gibson Park. We would all stand here from the commentary box and say, well, they're so reliant on Gibson Park. He knows that.
I know.
He would know that the Bundee Aki is ageing and they probably need another big ball carrier through the midfield. But you look at the bench, Tom Farrell, 2nd cap, Cian Prendergast, 8th. You mentioned Paddy McCarthy, 4th. New options at number 10 have come through since 23. So it's kind of happening. It's whether it's happening with the pace of change some Ireland fans would like to see.
And I think that's just going to be his way, Chris. It's not going to be, he's not just going to start again, and he made that point very clear after 23. I think you remember that 24 Six Nations, the captain he turned to was Peter O'Mahony, and you think that is not an appointment that sets a new era. That is him saying we want continuity. Like, we have been at the top, we've been at the summit without winning the World Cup, but they were at the top. They've won a tour away, and the All Blacks have beaten South Africa 4 to 5 times. They've been at the very top of world rugby, so why throw that all away? Let's just keep going and evolve. But he will be acutely aware of those age profiles. So we demand change in the media, but they are looking medium term as well. And there will be a time when guys like Jamie Osborne, I think if he had been fit, would probably have been playing in the midfield. Hugo Keenan isn't available, but he would have been at fullback. We've seen Mac Hansen against Australia play a brilliant game at fullback, and that's actually a new option. Even though it's the same player, you're getting a new option, a new attacking threat over the course of the last 3 games. So I just think tonight this is a little bit more about the here and now. They want a sort of statement win so they can go into the Six Nations, which your listeners might not be aware, but starts in Paris against the champions. So 2 massive games.
Well, it'll tell us so much, won't they? Ireland's next 2 games, today and then Paris away on that opening Thursday.
Yeah.
It's the way that we went to bed 24 hours ago and England were on top in the cricket, and then we wake up and they've lost. So things can change so quickly. Yeah. The narrative in the cricket has gone from, England's battery of fast bowlers are going to, ruin this Australian batting lineup, and now it's suddenly, where do England go from here? And so with Ireland, if they were to lose and be out-muscled and out-thought by the best team in the world, then you could add that to Chicago, and you could add that to the second half here against France, and you could add that to some sloppy stuff in the Six Nations. But if they were to win, you'd go, this Ireland team is still very much with it, and that's what makes it such a good game.
No, I think you're right, and that's ultimately like the All Blacks. The thing that's so compelling tonight, Chris, is Springboks have a real burning ambition, desire here tonight. It's the end of a long year for them, and Erasmus is brilliant at finding stories, grudges, why it's not fair, why is it all against us. They haven't won here, and he's got 2 World Cups to his name, he's got 2 rugby championships to his name, but it will really bug him that they haven't won here. And the fact that Ireland are involved in a rivalry of South Africa in itself just shows where this team still is regarded by Erasmus. And but it all comes down to, we saw what they could do to France in Paris with 14 men. This team has a capacity to win comfortably tonight. I think Ireland supporters, speaking to a few of them today, people know they're up against it tonight, but if it's a battling defeat, I think you'll get some sense of it's starting to move, it's starting to evolve. If it's a blowout, and I think the questions that you've raised there and that are in the back of minds of supporters will come back front and centre again. And the frustrating thing for Farrell will be, it's now 8 weeks until Paris, and then what a match that will be. So, I think we'll learn a lot tonight about mindset, but that's why I go back to, for now, evolution, progress, 27 World Cup, we can park that tonight. This is about 80 minutes of what we hope is going to be a test match that is way beyond an autumn friendly. I mean, this is going to be right up there, I think, and you can see the players out down below warming up, and it's going to be awesome.
Big match feel. 23 minutes to go. Just on the box, Gav, because this is a team that have won back-to-back World Cups, as you say, won back-to-back Rugby Championships. They've still got a match next Saturday against Wales, a funny old fixture outside the window, so I imagine 2 sort of much changed sides for that. I mean, they've rolled out the big guns here. I know they've got 1 or 2 missing, as have Ireland, but that South Africa side, you just cast your eye over it, and it's oozing, isn't it? It's oozing quality.
And as you say, the options, Mostert gets his red card, it's overturned, and he's just not involved anyway. The strength and depth at the minute of South African rugby is frightening, and the great thing about Erasmus's tenure is that, I guess you could be complacent in that sense. You've got such a quality of player coming through, but he's constantly evolving. He pushes things time and time again, and again, he's bringing through a new 10 as well. But ultimately, Chris, tonight, I just think I keep saying this, but it's not going to be about looking forward. It's going to be about tonight. And South Africa want, I think, psychologically, to lay down a marker against Ireland. And this will be looking forward to 27. Like, we are the best team. You know it.
Yeah, and they're just ticking it all off, aren't they? Whether it's winning the big trophies or winning at Twickenham like they did last year, winning in Paris like they did a couple of weeks ago. They've not been able to breach the Eden Park Fortress, but they whacked 40 points on them in Wellington. And this will, for all this team's achievement, this Erasmus era of Springbok rugby, Dublin is one of the final frontiers for them.
It is, and it's it's remarkable. Just Ireland's record for all their failings in getting beyond a quarter-final of a World Cup. A record of 4 wins from 5 against South Africa is remarkable, and you have to go back to 2012 for their last victory in Dublin, and that for a side a nation so proud of their rugby team, and on a real rich history here. A lot of the players, some of the South African players, a lot of South African players playing up in the provinces, up in Ulster, and like CJ Stander, we saw the hotel this afternoon earlier, became an Irish legend, but
John Klein's played for both.
Yeah, John Klein's played for both.
Rassie Erasmus coaching at Munster, Jack Nienaber now coaching at Leinster, Jerry Flannery and Felix Jones Munster legends now in the box setup.
Yeah, Nienaber at Leinster.
Yeah.
Now talk of him, he might go back to 27 in time for the 27 World Cup. So,
but that's. I mean, I know he's contracted up till maybe the summer of 27, and he probably can still go into the setup for 27. But that's always going to happen. Erasmus is too wily to let Nienaber and all his IP go and not come back. I mean, that guy's going to be involved in South African rugby again, isn't he? This is where they are. While Erasmus is around and at the helm and so influential, he's so careful because he's always plotting, isn't he? He's always scheming.
It's the same with their players, Chris, because a lot of them. There's financial reasons why so many of the South African players go overseas. They can't afford to keep them in South Africa, but also they get a brilliant learning experience. I mean, I remember having this debate with the ex-England player Martin Bayfield, in talking about how the Premiership had really, helped South Africa win the World Cup in 2019, because like the likes of Faf de Klerk and things had come through at Sale, and he would never have been involved in the South African squad if he'd stayed behind. So they're getting the IP of rubbing shoulders with England's best, Ireland's best while they're overseas, and they just have this magical property ability to, when they come back together, they don't need long training camps the way we're so used to.
They're like a club side, aren't they? The way they come together.
Yeah, and it's such a strong. I mean, Erasmus, we've seen some of these documentaries he's done. The pull of the jersey, who they are representing, what. It's a very powerful connection between their performances and who they represent back home. I think it's probably unrivaled. Ireland have their own reasons to be passionate about the jersey here and all the good that rugby's done for this Ireland and through troubled times as well. But it's that way they can just come together, and there are no egos. We've seen Rassie, when De Jager got sent off, and he took off Siya Kolisi on his 100th cap. The captain, not a problem. What's best for the team? It's not you. It's not you on the pitch. But a lot of other squads that could have caused issues. But everyone buys into his thinking and his team first approach and his South Africa first approach. And what a group of athletes. It'll be whatever happens tonight. We're going to be privileged to see one of the best ever rugby teams. I remember my match report in 23 World Cup finals saying, is this the greatest ever South African side? And you look, they've won back-to-back World Cups. They've beaten the Lions. It's hard to argue with that. And really, you could argue they're a better team than they were in 23.
Yeah, you could argue that Paris performance was one of their best ever, and that comes in the middle of World Cup. So they're not peaking at World Cups like they used to. They're now a consistent force of dominance. Gav, brilliant to have you on. Thanks so much for your fantastic insight. You can hear read a lot more from Gavin Mayers across the Telegraph as the players go back in to the tunnel. Listen to the atmosphere build around Dublin. We're going to be joined by Donncha O'Callaghan very shortly as we build up to kick-off. But let's hear a little bit from our Ireland Rugby Social podcast, which has been set up in the last few weeks and months on BBC Sounds with Gavin Andrews and the Ireland great Conor Murray. Fantastic listen, everything you need on Irish rugby on the Ireland Rugby Social. Their special guest this week was Rob Herring. Gav Mayers talking there about the link between South Africa and Ireland. Herring was on to talk about that rivalry between Ireland and the Springboks. He was born in South Africa. He's won Grand Slams and Six Nations titles under Andy Farrell. And here he is comparing Farrell and saying that a lot of his strengths as a coach are similar to the Springbok head honcho Rassie Erasmus.
I think he's just good at, I've always said this, like
against the world.
Yeah.
He doesn't make, Rassie seems to be, just his mind games are brilliant, but I think Faz is more
about like inspiring. He sort of brought that thing in about sort of inspiring the younger players in the country, and the guy who wants to be that international in 10 years time or whatever. And I thought he was just really big on boys being themselves and not trying to like change to fit a mold or anything like that. Like how many characters does he bring in, and just embrace that side of it, like, you know, group of misfits almost. So,
Yeah. That's I think Mac last weekend was so good. Even, not just for playing, but to have him in the group.
Yeah.
Like he just adds a serious
some character.
But yeah, and I think the inspiration thing was really good that he brought in. He put a picture of like a young kid in the crowd in the Aviva, and he was like, "That's he had a name for him,
Johnny." No, was it
Johnny or Harry or something? I don't know if it was his real name or like we're going to inspire Johnny. Now this is his first time seeing you like this weekend, and the next weekend there'll be another young Johnny who's his first time in the stadium, and he made it out to go out and try and inspire rather than being like, everyone hates us, we need to go and kill this other team.
Was South Africa always a different one for you?
A little bit. My second test for Ireland was against Africa, and it was at the Aviva, and my mum and dad were over, and it was a little strange, you know, you're lining up in the anthems and you hear this African anthem, but you know, I always say this, like, being in Ireland and like this, it's given me so much in my career on and off the pitch, and I've always been incredibly proud to represent the country. And you know, once you're in the squad, it didn't really, like, yes, we were playing against Africa, that didn't really matter to me at the time. I just wanted to go and play the best I could, and try hope the team win, because I felt a part of the squad at that stage, you know. So it was never really too odd. There was obviously, you know, the odd when you realise you're playing the country you're born in, but you know, it was very much task at hand and try to do as well as I can with.
Did you ever get any like chat on the pitch from them?
Not really.
When you're
no, I do, but
you left.
You actually get a little bit more in the URC.
Really?
Yeah.
Go away.
Just a few Afrikaans slangs. Yeah. But nothing that I can remember anyway. Yeah. The boys always say I don't understand Afrikaans anyway, so maybe they were. I just didn't understand.
Yeah. Oblivious to being slated.
But you beat them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that before.
That was huge.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Because that was our first time at home since the World Cup, wasn't it? I know we lost the first test in 24.
Yeah,
that was their first time coming back to South Africa and playing.
Yeah, so it was their first game.
Yeah,
big occasion. I remember Pretoria being real hostile, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like
that was so hostile.
Do you remember the bench? People throwing beers and
ice cubes of ice in us in the back of the head when we sat down.
Mental.
But I think it was happening. It was a cool.
Yeah, it was like to see, you know, the stadiums in South Africa are unreal. Mm-hmm. And when you go with the URC, it's a bit of a letdown because they're empty and
echoey, aren't they?
Yeah, but then when we rocked up for that first test, and there's obviously a bit of a rivalry now, and you know, obviously the media are building it up quite a bit, and a lot of the South African fans probably think, well, a lot of my mates would say, "Oh, the Irish, you guys are arrogant," but that's not the players. That's the media kind of doing their thing, and
I think it's come through the media a little bit.
And I think the fact that the games have been so close in recent years, so I think that's why the rivalry's there, and that's why there is a bit of, I wouldn't say beef, but it's always a massive game. It's because of how competitive it's been. And
it came from the World Cup as well. A little bit of that, the narrative about when we beat them in the group stages, that we were all like,
and there's all that rubbish about,
I just can't think of any Irish player that would have said that. So look, I think it built it up to be a good storyline, a good rivalry, but like I just that one annoyed me. Like, I don't think any Irish player thinks like or talks like that.
No, and the thing with South Africa, like, rugby's religion over there, and people are real passionate about it, and especially on social media, you know, people will be loud about their opinions, and it's good. Like, you know, people love rugby, but I think sometimes it can be quite hectic. You know, if players were getting private messages and a lot of abuse and stuff like that. But like for the playing side of thing, it's just, you know, it's a great competition, and like when you're in that environment, you want to challenge yourself against the best, and they're the double World Cup champions. So, you know, what a game too.
Yeah, this week it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I genuinely think it's going to be an unbelievable game.
Right, the thoughts there of Conor Murray and Rob Herring on the Ireland Rugby Social. So make sure you download and subscribe to that on BBC Sounds, all the usual pod places, your weekly, sometimes more than once a week. Look at all things Ireland Rugby. Massive addition to our Rugby Union Cross BBC Sport, but we are how long away now? Just over 10 minutes. Donncha O'Callaghan is with us.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. I'm nervous though. These are the games. It's got a proper buzz around Dublin today, Chris. It is. Everyone's excited about this game. It's quite crazy from an Irish mentality to think that New Zealand and Australia was a warm-up towards what is going to be an epic game.
But that's exactly it. That shows where this South Africa team is, that this feels the biggest game of the autumn, whereas maybe when you were playing and in other times in rugby history, New Zealand's the game, Australia's the game, but they are the dominant force in world rugby. Wow, and listen to that.
Incredible. Yeah, you're so right, and this is the one even Irish sports rugby fans want to go to. We will all have the conversation of, could this be the best team ever? This South African looking to do 3 in a row in World Cups, dominating the championship down in the Southern Hemisphere. But Ireland's had their number a little bit, but the Irish sporting fans want to see these players as well. So this is an incredible game. It's posed to be quite amazing, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Donncha? Nighttime kickoff or a evening kickoff, full house, lovely dry day, world champions in town.
Yeah, and everyone's trying to get the atmosphere right and different things. Everyone probably looks at what goes on in France. This is quite spine-tingling here, though. It just Sinead O'Connor belting out over the stadium noise, and just the excitement about the game is quite incredible. And there's edge. It was amazing, Chris. You were busy working, but Razzie and Johnny Sexton having a little bit of a chat because the South African players are warming up in the Irish side of the half, and then you've added Waters going toe to toe with R.G. Snyman.
Oh no, it's great. And as we touched upon there with Gav, lots of links between these two rugby countries, a real rivalry, but a real crossover as well, with Erasmus being a former coach of one of the provinces in Munster, Felix Jones, Jerry Flannery, former Ireland internationals, in his staff, and then players like R.G. Snyman, who's about to walk out for his 50th, who was at Munster, now is at Leinster. Here come the players. Listen to the atmosphere build around the Aviva Stadium. Caelan Doris missed the summer tour for the British and Irish Lions because of injury. He's back, and at the age of 27 and with 55 caps, slap bang in his pride, as he often does. Siya Kolisi, the totemic captain, singing to himself in the tunnel. Here comes R.G. Snyman on his 50th cap, a man who's played a lot of rugby in this very city for Leinster. He gets his moment to mark that achievement, and then behind him the skipper Kolisi and the rest of this all-conquering South African lineup. Ireland led out by their captain Doris, but still Donncha about 8 minutes away, and this is where, with the presidential meeting and the anthems, you just got to try and keep a lid on your emotions.
Absolutely, always really difficult to navigate. Of course the supporters want to be here early, they'd love the pitch, players out in the pitch. It is a special moment for our new Uachtaráin Nahiran, Catherine Connolly, our new 10th president. It will be her first time being seen at one of the rugby games, and like you're saying, I think everyone really enjoys these bits. It's difficult for the players though, Chris. This is honestly the moments where you're there, can we just get the game on?
It's an all-English officiating team. Matt Carley flanked by Christoph Ridley and Carl Dixon, and they are standing in the middle of the two sets of players who are lined up on the 10 or so, 10 metres in from the near touchline, which we're peering over the top of as they wait to do the formalities. And where do you see this game going, Donncha? And do you sort of share the feeling that, man, if Ireland were to win this, it shows that any of the talk of their demise has been extremely premature, but if they were to be beaten and well beaten, then those questions will be asked about where the team is at 2 years after 2023 and 2 years ahead of before 2027.
Yeah, I think that's right. Answer it tonight, really. And I think Andy Farrell will say that. He's hugely emotionally intelligent. He's great for having kind of the gauge of the outside noise while not leaving it into the walls and to cost the players any thought. But they certainly will be looking to bring their best tonight, this Irish team, because you're right, Chris, if they don't, everyone starts talking about the ageing squad. Tonight is the night to answer it.
Catherine Connolly, the president of Ireland, is just walking out of the tunnel, and she will shake hands with the players and the officials, because we did the game together, didn't we?
Yes.
Ireland against France, and in March, and that felt oof. Is this a bit of a changing of the guard? Ireland had won 2 Six Nations back-to-back, but they were really put to the sword in that second half, and that was maybe one of those games that you feel can signal the end of a team's era. Andy Farrell, having come back from the Lions, will be desperate to prove that's nothing of the sort.
You're 100% right. That's the reference point for all of the other teams. South Africa will look at that. The powerhouses like France and England will look at that. Is that more than just a scratch? Is that a serious scar? Can they go after this Irish team? And the biggest thing, Chris, is confidence. Can you dent their confidence and probably put them in a moment like that where they question themselves? You're right, teams will smell blood in the water after that French performance, and this South African team will be looking to do the exact same. And if you think back at that game, there was moments of brilliant, but there was incredible physicality, and that's, I think, what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, the president just shaking hands with the players being introduced to the Springboks by Siya Kolisi. Donnacha, in your career, I think off the top of my head, 05 with the Lions away against that All Blacks team, 09 with the Lions away at that Springboks team. You would have played some of the most formidable physical sides in rugby history. Do you have to prepare differently when you know what's coming?
Yeah, and in a crazy way, Chris, it's kind of good because you know it's coming. It's that kind of arm wrestle physicality. It's the ones that probably test you in terms of evasion, and I think that's what this is what Rassie has added with the likes of Tony Brown. They can play all types of games now. They've an aerial threat, they've physicality that is unmatched. Maybe the likes of England or France could keep with them, but their ball skills and play out of contact has advanced so much between the last World Cup. So you're right, if you look to probably take them on physically, they've so much more in their toolbox nowadays, this South African team. But I do think for the first 10 or maybe 15 minutes we're going to see physicality at a different level here.
And where do you think Ireland are in terms of the identity of their team? We know that in their pomp, say from 2021 to 2023, it was all about the shape and the system, the patterns, the intricate ball movement. Do you think they need to just tweak and adapt their style as the game changes?
Yeah, I think when you do lose drivers, the kind of Conor Murrays, the Peter O'Mahonys, even go back a little bit earlier with the Keith Earls, the guys that can stay on message for the coach, I do think that's been lost. But personally, I do feel Andy Farrell has been a massive loss over the last year. Simon Easterby, a brilliant man, a brilliant coach, but I just think Farrell's eye and ability to get a message across. I think what you'd say about this Irish team is they're quite incredible at maybe playing at the line, that kind of rugby league mentality that everyone's a threat at the line. I can just see Andy Farrell policing that every day, and maybe that's something, it's not a dip in standards, but maybe it's someone not keeping an eye on it the way Andy Farrell can, and I think it'll be a massive boost to have him back and in and around the environment for standards alone.
Yeah, you forget he wasn't just away with the Lions in the summer, but the Six Nations as well, so really valid to make that point. He is now back, and as Gavin Mayers was talking about a bit ago on the programme, he is determined, Farrell, to prove that there is plenty more life left in this Irish side. Right, we're now ready for the anthems. We have 2 minutes to go until kick-off. I think we might be delayed by a minute or two kick-off. They're just slightly running over, but the smoke is filling the air. I cannot see a seat in the house, and in our commentary position, Donnacha, we're in the crowd, aren't we? We're not behind some glass box way away. We are actually, if I turn around and I could touch the supporters, they wouldn't want that, but this is where we are. We're right amongst them. It's fantastic.
You're right, Chris, and these are the moments they're in early for it. It should be incredible. Normally you see a few people missing at the start. Everyone's in to see this.
Here's the South African national anthem. I'll tell you what, there are South Africa shirts all around Dublin. You know, I had a little outing last night and there were Springbok fans everywhere.
You're right, and you made the reference to the French game. It has that feel to it as well, that they've come in from all around Europe from home to be here.
To storm the Aviva. Here's Ireland's call. The Soldier Song, and now it'll be Ireland's call.
Ireland's call performed by Barry Murphy, former teammate of ours, won 4 caps for Ireland in a band called Hermitage Green, who and Felix Jones, the assistant coach with the Springboks, was the Boron player within it while they were playing at a time. They got to the point where the band was starting going to, well, and they had to say to Felix, you have to make your mind up whether it's coaching or whether you're going to go with the Boron.
The coach has not worked out for him, has it? Apart from all the World Cups. Right, we're going to have to take a seat because, as we touched upon earlier, we are right amongst the supporters here, and if we stand up, then someone's very expensive seat on the halfway line. We'll have just the view of me and Donica's back. Here we go then. Great stuff, Donica. One of the games ahead of this autumn we were all really looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think the Irish team targeted it in ways as well. Of course, you want to perform every time you go out on the pitch, but an awful lot of the players, undercooked is a big word, but if you certainly don't play enough games, and our Irish team didn't play enough games going into that New Zealand game, I feel they're battle hardened now, Chris, though, and ready to go, and looking forward to, bringing it all out there, because there's been an upward trajectory in the performance, but can we see it all together tonight, because they're going to need to.
Well, the South Africans in a huddle of zombie plays. What an atmosphere it is. Ireland are in their white. Let's go to the two teams just before kick-off. Ireland, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, the front row, James Ryan and Ty Bird. A quintet of British and Irish Lions. Ryan Baird 6, Josh van der Fleer 7, and Caelan Doris is at number 8, the skipper. Jamison Gibson Park, their influential 9. Sam Prendergast partners him at half-back. Bundee Aki in the midfield with Gary Ringrose, that oiled partnership. Aki's first game for Ireland since March, his first start rather. James Lowe, Tommy O'Brien, one of the new boys, 6th cap on the right wing. Matt Hansen at fullback. South Africa, Bowen Benter, Malcolm Marks, Thomas Totoy, Eben Etzebeth, Ruan Nocte in the second row. Sia Khaleesi, Peter Steph Totoy, Jasper Wiese, Cobus Reinhardt, Sasha Feinberg, Mngomezulu. At 9 and 10, Damian Diolande, Jesse Creel in the midfield, and then Cheslin Colby, Kanan Moody, Damien Willemse, a skillful and elusive back three. It's that man, SFM, Sasha Feinberg and Mngomezulu, one of the best most brightest prospects in world rugby. Listen to the noise around Dublin as the smoke clears. Left to right he kicks. South Africa in their iconic green, Ireland in their chain strip of white as Gibson Park moves it wide. James Lowe down the left touchline. Lovely little post with Tyke Byrne, and we were chatting in the build-up about whether Ireland could keep South Africa guessing, and that was an inventive start, Donica, but South Africa have tied it up well. Oh, lovely step from Prendergast in the backfield. Then he puts a huge kick that goes high but not far. Mac Hansen, hat-trick last week, he overruns it and then gets back to pat it towards Dan Sheard. Breakneck speed this game has started at. Low to talk about the opening 30-odd seconds as Ireland attack on their own 10-metre line.
Yeah, and something we saw last week, Gibson Park bringing all the attempt, but Ireland using James Lowe on the edge and making sure they get every bit of space and use his left boot to get them precious field position.
Cheslin Colby's kick, the double World Cup winner. No one wanted it, so Prendergast again is in the backfield and he pops it up the tackle to Bundyaki. Ireland 5 metres in from this near touchline. They win a penalty, Matt Carley penalising the Springboks for not releasing the tackled man, and Ireland will have a penalty. And there is plenty to talk about in that opening minute and 13 seconds. Ireland twice looking to stretch South Africa on the edge and use James Lowe, and a couple of times Sam Prendergast having to show all of his mettle in the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely, and a person that's key to it is Gibson Park. Just that whatever about the distance in his pass, the speed of it is quite remarkable, and he can liberate and get players into it. It's been good start for Sam Prendergast, an awful lot in the backfield. Hopefully we see some of those spiral bombs that he was using against Australia last week. He'd won Gary Owen there, it kind of more end over end, but this is something he's got in his game that's a point of difference.
Sheehan over the top to the former World Player of the Year, Josh van der Fleer, in his red scrum cap. Drives up almost to the 22. There's Gibson Park. He's got the dummy runner in Ryan. Now Dan Sheehan, the influential Lion. He comes around the corner. Centre field, 22. Oh, Prendergast waiting to throw a wide ball to Baird, but instead he threw a dummy. That was sensible from the young number 10. Gibson Park, Andrew Porter, another Test Lion. He sets it up on the 22, just inside the box. 22, they get the penalty, South Africa. They're all over that on the floor. I mean, Jasper Wiese doesn't have a knee on the deck, but Matt Carley was happy with his body position, and that just shows the danger, Donica. If they don't resource the rucks well enough, the box will be all over them on the floor.
Absolutely, and what led to it was pretty much the line speed, which we are so used to seeing from this South African team. And you mentioned it, Chris. Sam has to step into it there. He wants to put that pass, but the high blitz is pushing him in to make the shorter one. Fantastic from them, and then just a brilliant job to get on that ball and make sure with a ref like this, he will reward you if you look to pick up the ball.
Yeah, all English officiating team, which means there should be real chemistry between them. Yeah, Christoph Ridley and Matt Carley just having a chat on this near touchline. Jamison Gibson Park, I can't believe he's only got 46 caps. It feels like he's got 146. He's been so key for Ireland over the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, he's been an ever-present, and to be honest, he's the point of difference in terms of the pace and tempo this Irish team can get up to. We saw last week against Australia. He's quite remarkable and very important.
Oh, South Africa win the line out of the tail. Peter Steff getting up there just to beat Ryan to the punch, and they got penalty advantage as Damien Delandi goes through the guts of the Irish defence. Up to the 22, they've got options to the right. Here comes Cobus Ryan up to the left. Feinberg and Ngobazulu. Colby, this is class. Peter Steff, oh, what a try! What a try that is for Damien Willemse. That's what South Africa can do. Their first meaningful attack, and they're in at the corner.
Amazing play, fantastic, using the whole pitch, but just the speed and the depth of this South African team just really showing if you make one mistake, you can really be punished. And just the ability, Chris, to, like we were saying earlier on, the all court game to be able to get to an edge. I mean, just the fantastic backs and forwards, all brilliant skills to make sure they score in the corner.
I tell you what, Donica, if you were to ask Siri or Alexa to show you a modern day rugby try, throw to the tail, drive through the gut, big number 12, quick ruck ball, hands with both forwards and backs involved, that had everything.
Absolutely, had the penalty advantage as well, so they know they're liberated to go play and give it a chance. So fantastic score, and this Irish team have been put on notice. You know, you don't front up and make your shots. This team are going to run in scores. Well,
Sasha Feinberg just misses it to the left. Feinberg and Ngobazulu, who was influential in that try, and Colby coming in from the wrong wing, and then Peter Steff. Willemse still had a bit to do, did the fullback, and he finished regally. Ireland 0, South Africa 5 after 5 enthralling minutes on Sports Extra Live in Dublin. You can still smell the fireworks in the air, can't you, on this crisp Dublin November night, as Prendergast kicks Ireland off from right to left, down the throat of the former Leicester man, Jasper Wiese.
Inside.
They have managed to tap into so many different parts of the rugby world. Wiese
Play the ball.
really developed at Leicester, winning a title there, and now a key part of the box at number 8. That kick isn't great from Reinach. I think South Africa got in there to keep it in, but it's Irish possession. Mac Hansen, can they move this? Bundy Aki, yes they can. Out to Gary Ringrose. There's Cheslin Colby biting in. The box wings will do that as they come to the left. Oh, lovely hands, Tyke Furlong. James Lowe down the left touchline. He's got away, James Lowe. He can't quite link. Up to the 22, Ireland go. They trail by 5. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. Willems are scoring a brilliant try for the box, but here go Ireland. Mac Hampson over to the right-hand side to O'Brien, who's looking for the corner. Compelling, captivating stuff in Dublin. 6 minutes gone. What a contest. Ireland 0, South Africa 5.
Oh, remarkable tackle by Peter Septotoy, and it's kicked off over in the touchline. And I'll be honest, an awful lot of people have come to see exactly this, the kind of boil over of this. There's been tension between these teams for a number of years now. Looking back here at this shot, we're getting to see it on the replay. People looking at different areas. The toy is in trouble. Seems to be low enough.
I think it might have been Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu coming in, and the players are still going at it. Tommy O'Brien wasn't a million miles away from the corner, was he? But he was felled by Peter Stepp, and then the fly half of the box came in with that tucked shoulder again, which has been their Achilles heel all autumn. I think this will be a shoulder on shoulder, so it probably won't be red card territory, but discipline is the area where the box can massively make strides, given they've been losing players left, right and centre.
And Chris, look, I agree, we could have a massive conversation about this, but you've hit the main point. That tuck shoulder, you're not getting away with doing that in the modern game. It's no longer acceptable, and just to see players still doing it in terms of, even if it lands on the shoulder, which hopefully this is the case, and we only see it as a penalty or a yellow card, but it's just, in the modern game, it's madness.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It's Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu coming through, and he's got it all wrong there, because he should be tackling with his left shoulder and wrapping the arms. Instead he's tackling with a slightly tucked right shoulder. I see this again, a shoulder on shoulder. I don't think there's head contact at all. The fans might want it. Let's listen in.
We're not going to do it until you move away, so you're slowing the game.
Matt Carley telling Caelan Doris to get away. Doris no doubt looking to point out a few things and
what I'd like you to tell me
guide Carley in a certain direction. Let's listen.
Most of the force of that shoulder is into the chest. There is slight head contact.
So it's onto the shoulder and then it moves up to the head?
Yeah.
It's really low. The player doesn't have time to bring his arm up. I'm at PK only.
Okay. Yeah, Christoph?
It's just to take that off the ball.
Okay. So, Jacko?
Yeah.
We have a decision.
Okay, come back to you now.
We're not convinced that it's a no-arms tackle, but we do believe that there is head contact. The player is falling, so we're going to go with a penalty restart in 15. Okay? Hang on. Come here. Come here. And you come here. Move away. It's a penalty against you. So back on the line.
Just a penalty. Matt Carley talking to the captains. Let's listen into this. This could be interesting.
What happens subsequently is not acceptable. If that happens again, a player from each side, at least, will be leaving the field and going to the bin. I don't want to hear your players telling me that players are running in when they're doing exactly the same. Control your team. That is a line in the sand.
The initial incident is reckless.
And I'm giving a penalty. That's the end of the discussion.
Well, I think Caelan Doris thinks the penalty is the least it should have been.
Then up to the head.
Yeah, and look, there's different views on this, but I actually think he's got that spot on. And if we had that level of consistency within the game, everyone's okay and willing to play. I think what's frustrating for both us and supporters is in every other game it's been different decisions, whereas I think that's the right call for that attempted tackle.
Ireland kicks the corner, they go off the top. There's Big Bundy Aki in centre field. 15 metres in from the right touchline, they come to the right. Ireland off the line quickly is Moody to take down Sheehan. Only 7 metres out, good carry. Ryan Bird to within 5. 5 points is the South African lead. at the Aviva as captain Caelan Doris drives underneath the crossbar, 8 metres out or so, centre field for the Irish in their white. To the left they come. Gary Ringrose had Bundy Aki but didn't use him. Good quick ruck ball though. Gibson Park whizzes it out to Prendergast. Mac Hanson's up from fullback, gets it away to Lowe inside to O'Brien. This is excellent from Ireland, who couldn't be closer. South Africa on the ball looking to steal. I think they've managed to steal. How have they done that, the Boks?
Malcolm Marks take a bow. His ability to counter ruck and get over the ball, winning it back for the Springboks a metre from their goal line.
Oh, that was as close as Ireland have come, and a bit like a few moments ago. Good Irish attack, and then the South Africans on the floor have come in and they're playing the ref perfectly. They're getting their timing spot on, and they've nicked that one just as Lowe gave it back inside to O'Brien. I'd love to see a replay of who got in there. There's Thomas du Toit was there, as was Malcolm Marks, as you say, and he's so good on the ball, Marks. But that was Thomas du Toit. Marks in there as well, counter-rucking. The two front rowers forcing a massive turnover for the Boks. But Ireland still have pressure. Not quite where they want to be, but 20-odd metres out. They've lost the ball, and it wasn't straight. So here we go, Donnacha, this sort of the tail of the tape when you play against these top sides. It's about taking opportunities, isn't it, and keeping pressure up.
Agreed, and you mentioned it before kick-off, and that feel of the French game a little bit, where Ireland actually in the opening 10 minutes attacked so well but came away with very little. If you look at this Irish team, they look to go through high phase count, they look to keep the ball. Possession is key to them. You think you're seeing here with this South African team that they're picking the rucks that they're going after, and not only are they going after them, they're turning them over, which is vital at this point, Chris. They seem to have the answer to Ireland's attack at the moment, and I wonder, will it dent confidence for this Irish team?
Absolutely, that is just so key, isn't it, when you go against teams that have got all the tools that the Boks have. You've got to just be ruthless, you've got to execute, but they've got players who can come up with killer plays like that one. And now they're going to work at the scrum. Penalty coming at the scrum from the Boks. That's them flexing their muscles again. Damien Delandi, nice ball out to Feinberg and Ngomazulu. Then Willemse gets it on there too. Moody over on the far side. This is good from the Boks with the ball in hand. They're allying their super strength at the scrum and the maul with some slick play behind the scrum too. Eben Etzebeth, he pops it up to Bowen Venter, the Edinburgh prop, halfway line, inside the Ireland half just about. Feinberg and Ngomazulu kicks. That's not going to end up in South African possession because Gary Ringrose is all over it. Right, what do Ireland do with a little bit of turnover ball? Admittedly against a pretty stacked South African defensive line. Prendergast with a kick, it's not a bad one. It's turning Khaleesi and it's forcing the Boks to throw into the line out 25 metres or so from their own line.
Yeah, South Africa will feel a little bit hard done by in terms of the penalty advantage from that dominant scrum, going through a number of phases and then losing the ball, but an incredible start. And you look at the Irish team in response, you know, just trying to find any area to get territory and to get into launch. Lineout has been an area that needs a little bit of work. Can they pinch one here?
Former Ireland lock, Grand Slam winner, multiple British and Irish line, Donnacha O'Callaghan with us on Sports Extra, live at the Aviva Stadium in the east of Dublin as South Africa win their line out. Khaleesi carries it in. Cobus Reinhardt will go to the Dublin skies. 4-5 Irish players peering at that ball, but it's been batted back onto the South African side. A knock-on advantage. This advantage will be over very quickly. Yeah, there's Matt Carley calling it over. The kick is sitting up nicely for Mac Hansen on his own 10-metre line. He sends quite an agricultural kick, but still a challenge for Willemse, who takes it. Then he's taken in the air by Lowe. So that'll be a potential penalty if the TMO spotted that. But referee Carley looked happy. Yeah, now he's got the advantage for the tackle in the air. There we go. So Lowe just not getting his timing right, nothing cynical, just a penalty.
No, not at all, and that's probably good use, as we mentioned earlier on. It is brilliant to see TMO intervention in moments like that. It's a big area of the game now, with the kick escort leaving it. Arriving on time is very important, but what we're seeing is the jumping player who's trying to feel the ball, trying to get as much air time as they possibly can, because if you were to take a moment like that with James Lowe, You win the penalty, but that is an awful kick to touch.
Yeah, Feinberg and Ngomazulu is apologising to his forwards.
He should. He honestly, if I was a front five forward around him, I would not be happy with that.
There was something really cool that the Fijian hooker was doing at Twickenham a few weeks ago, and he was walking off the pitch and then going up the sideline. It was almost to say to his Ted, kick it down my throat. So if he was doing that, he'd been very unimpressed because he had to go back 20 metres. South Africa throwing into the line, right below us here. We could looking down the barrel of this line out as South Africa win the ball, and then Khaleesi, who often is used as the target man for the line. Now that's a good industrious carry from the box skipper. The fans behind us felt that Ireland had a dab at that ball, but the referee was happy that South Africa were legal, and Reinach puts a perfectly weighted box kick up. Low comes forward, and Dan Sheehan there gets onto the crumbs. Prendergast deep to Hansen. Hansen, it hits Aki. Oh, that's a tricky one for Ireland. Moody came through to make the tackle on Ringrose, and Ireland have been forced Donica back onto their own 22. The com's not quite right there as Doris sets it up.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see this South African defence. It's a really hard press inside the 15s, so limiting Ireland to within a short area of the pitch. We saw them getting good reward really early in the game by trying to get outside them and use the likes of James Lowe, but it's hard to beat this blitz, and they really are struggling with it at the moment, this Irish team. This South African defence looks ferocious.
The kick from Gibson Park is then knocked on by South Africa, so that's a good territorial gain from Ireland, and the crowd appreciate that. It will be the Ireland scrum, just short of the halfway line. 12-13 minutes gone now. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. Ireland scrum, their ball, but the box showed on the last set piece that South African scrum, which has helped steamroll them to a few World Cups, is still a formidable weapon.
Absolutely, and there's sometimes, Chris, you have to check your ego, especially as maybe a forward pack. You can try to take them on, and with the best intent in the world, but this part of the pitch, you wonder, are you better off putting that down channel one as quickly as you can, get it in and get it out, maybe take them on at another one, but this probably isn't the area for this Irish team to probably look to go after them.
Ireland scrum just taking a minute or so to form. South Africa with the game's only point. A beauty of a try from Willemse, the fullback, but it was a team effort. It started at the ball. Damien Dealandi went through the midfield. Good recycling, great hands, forwards and backs interlinking. That's nice. That's the ego put away, exactly as Donica O'Callaghan was calling for. A quick heel, get it away. Doris sets it up, and now Gibson Park just getting in a position to go to the skies, you would imagine. Dan Sheehan, the hooker, is on this right touchline. O'Brien is going to chase this. He's given himself a bit of a run up, so he gets his timing right. Gibson Park's kick coming down with snow on it, perhaps a metre or two too far, and it's taken in by Feinberg and Ngomazulu for the box over on the left touchline. Caden Moody it was actually who made the little bust and set the ball up. Ireland are trying to steal that ball. They may have got in there. No, it's there for South Africa.
No, Andrew, no.
In the middle of the pitch, in between the 22 and the 10-metre line. Use it as the call from referee Carley. 15 minutes on the clock. A good couple of rucks for Ireland as they put real pressure on the South African ball, which is slow. And so the Centurion, 140th cap for Eben Etzebeth there. Enforcer in the second row. What a player he's been for so many years. He sets it up. Reinert kicks. It's a tactical game of chess with both scrum halves using the boot plenty. Low went to get it, but he didn't. And then Ruan Nocte came forward. The ball is then loose. Oh, James Ryan is all over the South Africans there. Caitlin Doris is in the middle of the ruck, looking up, imploring the referee to give Ireland the decision, but South Africa still resourced the ball. And Ireland looking to really step up physically in these close exchanges.
Absolutely, Chris, the breakdown should be pay-per-view. It really is quite incredible. We've got used to teams leaving rucks alone. This isn't the case here. Every breakdown, South Africa attracting players in, getting players away from the kick chase, finding a way.
Gary Ringrose, he sees some real space, and Feinberg and Ngomazulu has to scamper back. What have we got here? We've got a penalty to Ireland, as South Africa were offside in the middle. Clever stuff from Gary Ringrose, because with the way South Africa defend Donica, they rush out the line, they put such pressure on you, there's going to be space they've left behind.
I agree, but it was the only option he had, Chris, in terms of when he would have looked in his eye line. There's South African players in it. They were offside on this occasion, and I think that will frustrate them because up to this point their line speed has been remarkable. But I think that would have put maybe the officials on notice to keep an eye on how quickly they do come off the line and make sure that there is more options for this Irish team than just the likes of Gary Ringrose kicking and finding. You're right, he found an awful lot of grass back there, but that's because the high press was so impressive.
Well, Ireland are having a good spell here, but they are at the moment pointless after 17 minutes just short of highly intense Test rugby at the Aviva. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. Sheehan to throw. What have Ireland got from this set piece? They're moving around plenty. They don't get that ball cleanly. They will get another chance because it was bundled out via a South African hand. But the line-out's been an area of focus, an area of expertise for you, Donica. What do you reckon is going on there, or are they just being put under pressure by 2-3 massive South African jumpers?
Yeah, well, this is a remarkable South African line-out, and I think an awful lot of teams are putting so much coaching time into the Irish line-out. It really is worth taking away the source that their main launch is off. You see this Irish team going to 4 in the line-out and winning it over the 15 so that they've an opportunity to attack.
Yeah, they went so far over the 15, South Africa were able to come up, but they go in at the side and Ireland get a penalty. So a chance for 3 points at least. Bundyaki out the back, Prendergast with a kind of football side footer, looking for O'Brien. It's sat up instead for Colby, and Ireland get the penalty. And I know it's not the trend or the vogue, Donica, but I do feel you kick the goal here if you're Ireland.
I absolutely agree, and in fact we saw it with England last week. They started using the drop goal, which we were seeing with George Ford, just when defensive alignments are this good. But no, it looks like this Irish team are taking a moment to at least think about this, whether it's worth knocking over, and thankfully Sam Prendergast is taking the points.
I think you've got to. I just think if you go for the corner and then get repelled, psychologically that's damaging. So
I agree.
3 they've had a good period here, Ireland. They need something.
Yeah, scoreboard pressure massive is really important. And I'll go back to that England moment with George Ford. There's 6 points where he spared his pack and really looked after him, and sometimes that's what you need to do. They can't take the fight all the time for you. You need to make sure that you're minding the energy levels, and that's exactly what Sam Prendergast is looking to do here.
It's not a gimme, but it's a kick you should be nailing 90 odd times out of 100. He's hit the left post and it's bounced back into possession of Lowe, so Ireland actually might have a useful attacking position here, but that was a very, very gettable kick from Prendergast to hit the post. But Ireland attack 10 metres out, Tadhg Furlong with a run up, and he spins out of a couple of tackles, takes 3 Springboks to fail the giant prop. Josh van der Fleer almost had a gap, and Eben Etzebeth with the despairing tackle. Out it comes to Gary Ringrose, that low slung running style, to within 5 is Ringrose, and then Ryan came through with a colossal clear. Ireland through Doris, 3 metres out. Can the Irish execute? Gibson Parkers, he catches South Africa offside. Tyburn up to the line and he scores! What a season he's having, what a year he's having, and he scored against the world champions.
Yeah, remarkable player. He'll be looking over at the nominations for World Player of the Year and just leaving him know that he certainly deserves to be in the conversation. I think maybe we're going to have a look back though at the James Ryan ruck, because you do have to target those breakdowns, but I don't know, the saying, Chris, in the game is, as a bullet, you've got to make sure you make your kills, that you've got to land and get someone away from the ruck. For me, I don't know, did he? And I think it's an area the ref is going to have a look at.
It looked a bit wild. Oh, he's tucking an arm, I think, there as well. It's Malcolm Marx. I mean, I'd be surprised if this is not penalised, Donica. You would know far better about the vagaries of rucking, but he's leaning in shoulder, he's going off his feet. Let's listen in.
The South African player, number 10, was over the ball jackling. He is pulled to floor by the Ireland player. And then the Irish player is then late arriving, number 4. I believe it's definite head contact.
Yes.
But glancing. But, okay. Can we just see one more time from the touchline, please?
Yeah, coming for you now.
He's in real trouble, I think, here, James Ryan Doniker.
I agree. I think there's contact to the head there. I would be, if I was him, incredibly nervous.
The dynamic of him falling over that player, so we're not sure whether that arm will come. So I'm going to send it to off field. Number 4.
He's getting a yellow card at least. He's going to go to the bunker.
Okay, we have a decision. Number 4 is an illegal clear out. He makes contact with the head. It will be a yellow card and it will go for an off-field review.
No try, penalty South Africa, James Ryan in the bin.
Yeah, and 10 nervous minutes for him, because I feel under a bunker review they'll certainly look at the contact of it. It is very difficult. The intent is to make sure that he clears out the breakdown. I don't know how the modern player does it at that point, that they can change the kind of speed and velocity of where they come in when the target changes so much, but you have to do better there. And for me, James Ryan hasn't done enough. South Africa missing touch on a penalty though, that will frustrate them.
Still 5-0 to the box. Tyburn's try scrubbed off. A tester for Feinberg and Ngomazulu in the backfield. He takes it with a plomb. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. Ireland down to 14. It might be upgraded. We will listen in. It's being reviewed by the bunker official as we speak. And Ireland still yet to get on the scoreboard, because in the midst of all of that, it's easy to forget that Sam Prendergast missed a bit of a gimme from the tee.
Yeah, it really is. And I know it just from former teammates and friend of mine kicking into this side of the Aviva. They always found very difficult in terms of, you see an awful lot of kind of steel work behind the post, and it can distract the eye. I don't want to make excuses, should do an awful lot better, but the width of a bar for Sam Prendergast there, we would have all been saying great play, that we're up for a try, but unfortunately it's been a disaster for Ireland in terms of losing key players.
Stay there, Ryan. Thank you.
Ireland 0, South Africa 5, 21 minutes gone. It is all happening. Ireland have had a great spell, but they missed a kick, a regulation kick from Prendergast, hit the post, and then they scored through Tyburn, but it was ruled out, Connor, for an illegal clear from James Ryan. Not just a penalty, a yellow card as well, an off-field review. So it could have been an Ireland try. Instead, Ireland are a man down. 21 minutes gone, and South Africa still lead through that Willemse try. Ireland 0, South Africa 5, halfway through this captivating first half.
Push the space, okay?
Yeah, just updating our listeners over on 5 Live who have got the Newcastle game. Yeah, it's hard to contemplate that Ireland are still on 0, but now South Africa have the ball, Doniker, in Irish territory, and they'll go to one of their best assets, which is the maul, as Malcolm Marks finds. Peter Steffi goes off the top. Doniker in a moment as Feinberg, Ngomazulu, Damien Deolander there, moving it wide through first base. Jesse Creel, nicely done. Willemse kicks for Colby. It touched Hansen. It will be a block line on the 22.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for this Springbok team, but more than anything, Chris, momentum. You just feel the air going out of the stadium a little bit with that decision. They knew that was a critical score that they needed from Tyburn, but even worse, to come away with the yellow card. And you can see this South African team, they smell an opportunity here to go after this team, making sure they have the call. And like you said, you're looking to probably maul this, but they're going off the top and using all the attacking options they have.
Now they're going to maul, yeah, this is the classic game of bluff and counter bluff. They went off the top before, now they maul. Malcolm Marks down the right of the ruck. It's been spoilt though very well by Ireland, and Byrne, no doubt, slightly irritated by his try being ruled out, got in there to make a crucial turnover. James Lowe, slightly isolated, uses his strength to barrel out of a tackle, but South Africa have Ireland pinned on their own 22. Remember, Ireland are a man down with James Ryan in the sin bin, 10 minutes at least. If that's upgraded to a 20-minute red card, which it may be, then Ireland will be able to replace Ryan after 20 minutes, but Ryan will play no further part. I wonder whether there will be enough mitigation to save Ryan and it will just be a yellow card, but we still wait on that news. 23 minutes gone, Ireland 0, South Africa 5. Ireland kick up to the 10-metre line, the box up the line out.
Yeah, more worryingly for me there though, Chris, just the lack of shape in that Irish team's exit. You know this team work an awful lot on them. They use James Lowe on the left-hand side to get out of it. They're using him in midfield, and it seemed like not a whole lot. I question the mindset at the moment. I think this Irish team are a little bit rattled, and they need the big leaders to step up now.
That's a towering crossfield from Feinberg Ngomazulu. Hansen gets up, and it's ended up back in Irish possession, and then O'Brien whacks it down the right touchline. Is it out on the full? It is. That is one of those where you've just got to keep your error count as low as possible against a team like this.
Yeah, they get called in the game coach killers, but they're, it's the compounding of errors which this Irish team will be frustrated with. Those moments you certainly need them to make sure that you hit touch and find a way, but Tommy O'Brien there kicking out in the full and giving South Africa yet another launch.
Malcolm Marx, nominated for World Player of the Year, the South African hooker. Oh, on the money. What a line-up that is to Peter Steff at the back, and now D'Orlando to creel this honed centre partnership. 22 for the box, who are just attacking with real slickness. Here goes Jasper Wiese, gets it up there to Nokia. He's up to the line, he's a metre short. The box looking for a second. Ireland despairing at the rock, but it's there for South Africa. Over in the left corner, metres out at most. Could be inches now as they peel around. They got another one, South Africa. World champion rugby from the best around, and if you miss opportunities to score, they will make you pay. And it's Bohan Benta who's got the try. They lead by 10.
Yeah, fantastic score. If you're in that South African coaching box, or even if you're the players on the pitch, you are so happy with the work you've done in terms of the reads, and that was an 11 pattern, hit one way and looked to come back. Big questions here about testing and seeing, is it a forward pass in the build-up to it?
Okay, so we've got TMO check. So that pass there.
Well, Ireland might be reprieved here.
Okay, so we have a decision. Happy?
I think it looked a clear forward pass on replay. Wiese to not, yeah, miles forward actually.
The hands forward, it will be no try. And
right. Both teams with a try ruled out. Didn't take much, or didn't take many looks at the replay, did it?
Fantastic. Thankfully, Chris, as an ex-player, just someone that loves the game, you want the game to be played at pace, and we've had these moments. You look at the Irish game against New Zealand over in Soldiers Field, taking near on 4 minutes. There we go, brilliant officiating, it just calling it straight away and getting on with the game. Brilliant, fantastic stuff. And I honestly hope we start seeing more of these referees being empowered to take and make better decisions.
And the bunker is all well-meaning, but if then there's 3 officials that send it to the bunker, then the bunker ends up getting it wrong because it's overturned on appeal, then you could be forgiven if you're a supporter, thinking, what on earth is going on? But that was good, clear officiating. That's what the TMO is for. That's what replays are for. Active try scoring, forward pass the build-up, one look, done.
Absolutely, and even the bunker in the case, there's something going on off the pitch. We don't see it, but we still get to see our beautiful game being played out while people in the right positions are making the calls on it. And I think that there's been a state of flux with the refereeing and the officiating, but I do think when we empower the refs, we get an awful lot more and a better spectacle.
Oh, South Africa wait to work on the Irish scrum there, and so Ireland have to, through Doris, who's done really well, the Ireland skipper, to try and get his side of platform back. But even though the scoreline is close, there are signs whenever the box get into Irish territory that they're coming away with points. It's not quite been the same for Ireland, although they have crossed the line, only for it to be scrubbed off. Kick from Gibson Park, taken by try scorer Willemse. He's going to get this kick himself, isn't he? Yeah, he beat Prendergast the punch, and then the offloads. That's world class from the fullback. Here's Feinberg Ngomazulu. He's turning Hansen. That looks a handy kick. Could be more than handy, but Hansen goes back. It'll be a goal line. Bounce the ball favouring Ireland.
Yeah, just a little bit too long, but the effort's right. In the kicking game, especially when you're looking to kick behind there, you look for as many bounces as you can, and he certainly found enough kicking space there. Mac Hansen doing a great job, and here we go, Chris. Both captains being called out.
Let's listen in to Matt Carley.
Sitting from the bunker, the yellow card will be upgraded to a 20-minute red card.
Well, there you go. A 20-minute red card. James Ryan's evening is over. So that wild clear out from Ryan. He's tucked the arm. He's made contact with, according to the officials, to the head, and it ticks enough boxes to be a 20-minute red card. Not the straight red that South Africa have had the last couple of weeks. A 20-minute red. Ryan won't play again, but in 10 minutes' time, they'll be able to bring on Kian Prendergast, you assume, to replace him in the second row. But precisely what Ireland wouldn't have wanted, especially when it came in the act of scoring or just before they scored that try that was ruled out through Tyburn.
Yeah, it was a massive momentum swing in the game, and look, I suppose I was opposed to the 20-minute red card, but the way the game's going, you embrace it now. I think if it was a red and we had seen 14 players for the rest of the day, you would have no doubt that this game's only going to go one way. Whereas this Irish team now have a chance, like you said, to bring on someone, and they're going to need it. This is going to take an awful lot out of this team. 10 minutes against such a physical, dominant pack really does seize up the legs, and I think this could really damage this Irish team come the back end of the match, Chris.
12 minutes to go until half-time. Ireland 0, South Africa 5, but the Boks put it in at the scrum. Look at that Springbok scrum marching Ireland back. Dear game Creel, that's a bit too easy. Busting into the Ireland 22 through their centres. Ireland on that ball, counter-rucking very well. No penalty, but Matt Carley had an advantage from the scrum.
Yeah, brilliant work by Tyburn to take it, but you're right, the dominance of that scrum. And Chris, it's something we don't talk an awful lot about. It's an area that probably doesn't get enough respect. Just the ability there to find a way and work together and win that penalty, a real asset for this South African team. I know I'm a tight 5 forward, but scrummaging done properly and respected like that, you could only take your hat off to it. It is great and so important to our game to have. The only thing I fear for Ireland, though, you look at our bench with the likes of Paddy McCarthy and what's to come on, it could be one of those days that you really have to answer up front, but unfortunately you mightn't have the answers.
Yeah, baptism of fire for the young Loosehead as and when he comes on for Porter, who does have a big engine. How Andy Farrell uses this bench, given he's going to have to empty it a bit earlier than he would have liked with James Ryan. If you're just joining us, 20-minute red card for Ryan, which still has over 10 minutes to run. So the Boks have an extra man and they have a 5-point lead as we edge towards the half-hour mark. They have an advantage. They've got the penalty, and they can. Well, South Africa on top here, Mark. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. As you say, half an hour gone, but the Boks are pressing. They've got a penalty only 5 metres out. They'll kick to the corner, go to the more, one of their super strengths, and Donncha O'Callaghan, former Ireland and Lions lock. They've had a 20-minute red card from that James Ryan clear, which happened just before they scored a try that was then ruled out.
Yeah, absolutely, and led to a massive momentum swing. We're seeing all aspects of play here from this South African team. Their first try from Damian Willemse, an incredible bit of skill, incredible play, but now we're seeing the set-piece battle that South Africans love. 5-metre scrum, and you can see they're licking their lips that they want a pushover try here and to push out the scoreboard yet again.
Yeah, they've chosen, Mark, to go for the scrum rather than the penalty. Listen to the noise around Dublin. It's only 5 points in the scoreboard, but the Boks are sniffing Irish blood here. Ireland 0, South Africa 5. South Africa scrum 5 metres out, 9 to go till the break. Right, Mark Chapman and the 5 Live audience just being updated at half-time in the football. That's over on 5 Live. But crunch time here, Donncha. Crunch time. You've been in that engine room when the heat is on and the pressure is high, and that is what these Irish forwards are going through right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult because you've got to find the answers, Chris. You really do. And these are the moments you practice all year, and it might only come down to one scrum, the tireless hours of practicing, but you have to find a way, and you know they're coming for you. It's I'll be honest, I'm old school, but I love this. This is, this is why we love our game, for these big men to go at it.
And they've got a couple of really skillful men in Moody and Feinberg, Gomazuli, Diolande Creel, Willemse all outright. They're not going to use them, are they? They're going to just hit it up with the forwards. Now with advantage, they do use their backs. There's a knock on, another penalty, right. What they can do is they can get the scrum penalty, have a go, come back for the penalty, and now Matt Carley, who isn't going to be afraid to give Ireland another card if need be. He's going to put, I'm sure, the Ireland pack on red alert. Let's listen in.
You are the first person to take a step to the left, and then that's what's causing you to come out. Okay, you must stay in front of him.
Well, Caden Moody got a ferocious. Oh yeah, there was. I think that just looks like an kind of collision between Caden Moody and Tommy O'Brien. Tommy O'Brien seems to have got up from it though. No, he's down, and Moody. Yeah, I didn't see that O'Brien was still on the floor. Moody was on the floor. Now he's up, and they're going to check. I imagine whether there's an illegal sort of leading with the shoulder or something. God, it's all happening. What an eventful 31 minutes.
Potential head contact with South Africa 14.
Or is Tommy O'Brien in the dock for head-on-head?
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at. It is very difficult for Tommy O'Brien there, though. It is an awful collision. It's really difficult to watch back because Tommy doesn't look like he's in great stead going there. But I do feel for Tommy O'Brien here in terms of at the line, Chris. He's got to watch both options. So there's a threat for him both at the line and behind the line, and he has to make a read in a split second. It is very, very difficult to try to change your arc or your movement. He does come out second best in the contact as well.
You're right with that? So we're considering penalty only, so we're between penalty and yellow card at the moment. He's really passive.
Exactly, I was going to use the word passive. O'Brien is the one brought backwards. I mean, you could quibble and say he needs to crouch a little bit,
so
but
an agreement between us.
For me, that's a rugby
so we have
incident,
a decision.
But I think it might be a penalty and a penalty only.
Jacko, we're going to go for a penalty only. We believe the player is extremely passive, and although he makes head contact, both players are dipping into the action as well.
But not all head contact has to be illegal, does it? You can't just say that because head contact's therefore a penalty. Anyway, it's a penalty to South Africa. They already had penalty advantage. They just have a chance to be in 15. But yeah, it's a really interesting one in this high intensity, high speed physical game. I just think you're asking a lot of players.
I agree, and Chris, I think we've got all the right calls. We could be looking at 3 red cards in a different game, or a different. You know, it is difficult, and it's the area of frustration. And I don't mean to harbour the point, but you just want what's right for the players. And Tommy O'Brien thankfully able to get up and play on, because the ferocity of the carry did lead to him being knocked back and rolled over.
That's when you wince. That's when it's one of those where you just wince and you kind of think, oh, and you feel that Tommy O'Brien. It's just one of those high speed, high impact.
You start calling the next time, your man, Chris. I'm not taking him anymore.
I'll tell you what, like, it's I mean, it's when players like yourself who've won all those caps say, "Oh, you guys look at the modern game and win." So what about the rest of us here in the stands? What? And this is also sensible, because Tommy O'Brien was poleaxed. He's going off for some treatment.
I'm delighted to see it. I didn't want to make the statement straight away, but just with the ferocity of that hit, regardless of gum shields, or I think it's just right to take him and just take a bit of time. What we want is the best for the players that play the pitch. Big ovation for Jack Crowley coming on. Be interesting to see how they set up.
Yeah, I imagine one of the 10s to fullback, Hansen to the wing, rather than Tom Farrell coming on the wing.
Yeah. Although Gibson Park to 15, we saw a little bit of that last week, and we've seen him finishing on the wing. He seems like he's heading over there. To be fair, he is the ultimate sports Billy. You probably could play him anywhere, and if this Irish scrum keeps going the way it is, he might be in tight head.
Yeah, Hansen has moved across the right, so maybe Crowley goes to fullback. Oh, under the pump, Ireland, but it's only a 5-point game. They've got to just somehow summon a massive defensive stand, because they're not a million miles away from getting in at half-time and regrouping and dealing with that James Ryan card, and that's a much better Irish scrum
Yeah.
And you feel the fans have sensed that.
Absolutely. You see Tyke Furlong here, that Irish scrum got it right, and he's frustrated. It is a little bit of perception in the ref's head, what's gone on before. You see that Bundyaki finding a way to get in and add his weight as well in the flank. And he's chatting over to the assistant ref about angles. I love backs and scrums that not only get involved but also spend a bit of time to help the ref out. Brilliant out of Bundyaki.
Well, you sense around this stadium that the supporters know what a crunch time in the match this is. South Africa score another 7. They'll have 7 more minutes with a man up, and they will feel they can take a huge stride towards putting the game to bed. But if Ireland can withstand this green onslaught, then it will put their confidence levels high as the scrum collapses and South Africa have the penalty advantage. Damien Deolandi, he's such a good focal point to set the ball up. Digging for it is Reinach, another advantage as Doris comes through there. Here come the box, a trio of carriers underneath the Irish crossbar. To the right they come, but they've got options left. They're really keeping their width through Creel over on that far side and Moody. But Peter Steff, Detoy and Khaleesi here on the right. 2 double World Cup winners. There's Peter Steff, one of the great Springboks of all time. Reinach, he dummies, he scores! Cobus Reinach. And when you've got players like Peter Steff and Cheslin Colby lurking, that's when as a number 9 you go, okay, you're taking your eyes off me, he's in, 10-0 box.
And it's awful, it's the fundamental of any good ruck defence, always watch the 9. But Chris, when there is so many threats at the line, I think we have a yellow card as well for Sam Prendergast.
Feels like repeated infringements. I mean, Matt Carley is hot on this stuff. He's not going to go, oh, you've conceded a try, that'll do. Oh, so they're down to 13 for 6 minutes, Donica. Ireland 0, South Africa 10. SFM will bang this over, he does. 12-0 South Africa, and now you can feel the belief just sap a bit out this stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you must say it, this South African came and they picked this game, they wanted to bring their best performance. They're certainly putting it on the pitch, be it scrum time, maul time, or even an attack. They certainly have all the answers.
Trying to see exactly what was the kind of straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the Prendergast yellow. Maybe just offside, repeated infringement.
Yeah, I think it was for slowing the ball at the breakdown, which is...
Sure. I tell you what, Donica, this South African team have upped their game in terms of in the 22s. We've always known they're a power side, but you see how all caught they are now.
Yeah. Onside.
Ireland 0, South Africa 12. 5 minutes to go of this first half as Crowley kicks off from right to left, and Jasper Wiese takes it in just short of the 22.
User.
5 minutes to go until half-time mark, and Ireland have conceded again. South Africa's second try, Cobus Reinach, the number 9. When you've got all of these big ball carriers and these wonderful wingers for South Africa, the number 9 just saw a gap and just glided through it. The Boks have their tails up here. Ireland are down to 13. James Ryan's yellow card upgraded to a 20-minute red card. Sam Prendergast has gone to the bin as well. So Ireland are on the rack with 4.5 minutes to go this first half. They have a penalty which will relieve some pressure, and the fans know they need to get behind their team here. Ireland 0, South Africa 12, edging towards half-time. Right, I tell you what, Donica, can they get something, Ireland, with 2 men down?
Yeah, they need to, like you were saying, anything here, they need to be in the right spaces. Penalty advantage here. Jack Crowley will look to get every inch out of this kick. Real tussle between them, something he's quite good at. Tees forwards up there to just inside the 22, but they will be looking to get anything in it, and we see it here. Limited time left on both the red and yellow card.
Yeah, graphic went up on our screen saying the 20-minute red card's got kind of 3 minutes to run or something, but still 7 or 8 minutes to run on the Prendergast yellow. I wonder, I know it's it's 12 points, but I wonder if Crowley thinks of a drop goal or something here, Donica, just to get on the ball. They've got penalty advantage, Ireland, with 13 men. Here goes Josh van der Flier to within 5. Oh, they couldn't score, could they? Here's Bundyaki. Listen to the Aviva. Everyone around us. They've got to score here. Dan Sheehan does score. I cannot believe it. Ireland have scored with 13 men against the world champions. And this place is going off.
Yeah, fantastic time to score just before half-time. Dan Sheehan, Josh van der Flier finding something to bring it to the line. All options, Gibson Park fishing them out. A critical score though, Chris, because momentum was gone from this Irish team. The crowd had probably waned away from it a little bit. Well, they have ignited one with a vital score. Brilliant carries from the likes of Bundyaki. Great clears of breakdowns from Tyke Furlong. And then the brilliant Dan Sheehan finding a way to hide that line, and we've seen it on lines towards an incredible player, but that's exactly what this Irish team needed. Big players to step up in the moments, and Dan Sheehan has.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Big match players. Van der Flier, Aki, Sheehan. Try Ireland, 12-5 box, 2 minutes left. Crowley, can he tag the 2 on? Yes, he can. The gap is only 5, improbably. South Africa scored their second try, and against 13 men, you felt they were going to go in for the kill. But this Ireland team have a proud record at this stadium. They've won 25 of their last 27, and no defeat by South Africa in 13 years. And that is a team that is not going to lie down. Ireland 7, South Africa 12.
Yeah, and they just cut Tandy Farrell in the coach's box. You see what it means to him, that score, because like us all, he sensed the momentum and the ability to stay in the game. Well, his team found something there, down to 13 players, and finding a way to stay in this game.
Exits now are huge, aren't they, when you get a big moment like that?
Absolutely, Chris, and respecting the fact that you still are down to 13. Again, I don't mean to be hard and labour the point, but the ego to probably go play, you don't need to against this South African team. Get out of here, don't give them any entry. And Gibson Park will be frustrated with the length of that box kick, because it's giving them a launch and giving them an opportunity to go play here.
If Ireland can get into the sheds at 7-12, they'll rip your arm off.
Absolutely.
Because the Boks have field position here in between the 22 and the 10. Do they go off the top? Yes, they do. I wonder if they could have mauled against 13, but maybe they can stretch Ireland when they're up against 13 South Africa. Reinach loses it, but it's a penalty, is it? Oh, Matt Carley had a long, hard look at that. But he's given a knock on against Ireland. No, he's given it to, he's moved his hands. So it was one of those where you felt he was just gearing himself up for a big, extravagant penalty decision, but knock on by Reinach. Huge intervention from Ireland. And with 30 seconds left, as Cian Prendergast is coming on now, isn't he, for James Ryan, Donica?
Yeah.
Can they get him on before the scrum? There's 9 seconds to run. I don't think they can. Oh, Matt Carley's looking at something else on the screen now.
He's been a busy man today.
Okay, so number 21.
Number 21.
No,
22.
22. Oh,
22.
Crowley's doing Crowley. Oh, that's. I can't believe Jack
22.
Crowley's done that. You know, when he had a look at it, he had such a long look at that ruck.
Clearly off his feet.
And he's given Crowley a yellow card. They're down to 12. I mean,
wow.
I mean, it's so blatant what he's done. And it's a penalty to South Africa. They'll be able to get Prendergast on, so they'll be down to 12 for only 5 seconds. But it was lost forward at the ruck because Crowley is on the floor and he knocks the ball out of Reinach's hands. I cannot believe you do that with all these cameras, Donica.
Absolutely, and even the moment after it, as we get Cian Prendergast on. But you're right, that is, to quote Eddie O'Sullivan, old coach, a brain fart. It really is quite crazy out of Jack. You can see then he tries to wrap and look like he's trying to affect his leg, but those moments, and you know, I know he's under pressure and he wants to have big performances. That is a silly penalty.
And that's why Matt Carley looked at it, because I think he felt that doesn't look right. Reinach's lost it almost inexplicably. South Africa kicks the corner, they roll the maul. They're up against 13. The cards are coming left, right and centre. Penalty advantage to South Africa, who are driving to within 5 metres of the Irish line. The maul is crabbing out of touch, but Ireland went in at the side and South Africa have the penalty 5 metres out. and South Africa can pick their route to their third try, you feel? Scrum, line out, tap. I don't think they're going to kick the goal at 12-7 with 2 Irish men in the bin. Yeah, they're going to kick to the corner. Oh, they haven't actually kicked to the corner yet.
1 and 3 green replacements.
Oh,
Wow.
Razzie.
And he's changed his props. Steenkamp and Wilco Low are coming on.
You're right, there's the coach, there's Razzie saying, I fancy it, Chris.
Do you think he looked at the last scrum and didn't see the dominance, so goes, off you come?
Absolutely, he is that ruthless, that moment. I think we were delighted as Irish people, he wasn't. And he has, in a game, that involves emotion, he's making an emotional call to make sure they attack this scrum.
That's been extraordinary 40 minutes of rugby. Ireland 7, South Africa 12. We are deep into... South Africa are choosing the scrum, and they've got 2 fresh props who are going to try and wreak some havoc, admittedly against the very experienced Irish pair of Porter and Furlong. The noise in the Aviva has been great all evening. You feel they know that the team needs them. Ireland had a chance just to get to half-time, but that Crowley penalty, the Crowley yellow, Crowley's in the bin. Prendergast is in the bin. They've got no fly half. Penalty advantage, South Africa. Visa, 5 metres out. 12-5 to the box. They're looking for a third try. Out it comes to nobody. Khaleesi, crossfield kick, looking for Colby, up against Hansen. That's going out. Another penalty coming, isn't it? Matt Carley's giving another yellow card. That's another yellow. Now they are down to 12. Ireland are down to 12 players. Porter from the scrum is now in the bin.
Yeah, this is quite remarkable, but I'm nearly careful saying it around the place. I think we've got the right call. I think Porter has been hinging. It has been annoying the ref. He said it to him. He's marked him on it. This isn't the first penalty, but it's a massive moment for young Paddy McCarthy, who runs on and now has to shore up a dominant scrum by this incredible Springbok pack.
It's one of those passages of play where you're just lost for words. So James Ryan got a 20-minute red, so he's off, but then they brought on Cian Prendergast, and the following have gone to the sin bin for Ireland: Sam Prendergast, Jack Crowley and Andrew Porter, in that order. They have no fly half. They're now bringing on Paddy McCarthy to scrum against a Springbok outfit that have brought on 2 fresh props. I think that's all of it. But that barely tells the story of what's gone on in this 40.
And worryingly, they're scrummaging against this pack with 7 forwards. They have to keep some backs out there, but it's just sheer numbers. And South Africa dominant.
They're going to walk this scrum in, aren't they? Reiner, another penalty try. Yeah, that was coming. That's a penalty try. You can hear what the Aviva make of it, but it was coming, and that's half-time. No kick from the penalty try. 19-7 half-time. Pick the bones out of that, Donncha.
Oh yeah, incredible. But I think we have to actually say a masterclass by this Springbok team, also in terms of managing the emotion of it. This Irish team, of course, they might be the wrong side of the penalty count, but they've probably been a little bit over the top, and the Jack Crowley one on that. Matthew Carey getting a tough time by the Aviva here, but for me, all these calls seem to be spot on, and Ireland really, they'll have a lot of questions at half time, but this Springbok team look fascinating. They look incredible, and they look like they really can make a statement here.
It's one of those where you're slightly open mouthed at the eventfulness of the game, but also, as you say, Donncha, the power and relentlessness of this South African outfit. And Ireland under such relentless pressure, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And I think you summed it up, quite well when you're saying that they had the all-court game. I think this is how they've evolved, Chris, to be honest with you. They can take you on up front, they can show you threats out wide, they can also take on the kicking game. This has been built by Razzie from quite an early point of view, but we also saw the ruthless side of him as well just before half-time. You know what I mean? We would have all said, that pack is dominant and doing so well. Not for him. He takes off his 2 props. We saw a bomb squad within like the 39th minute.
Wow, I mean, what a crazy game. Crazy game, and Ireland will start the second half with 12. They will start the second half with 12 men. The tail of the tape's quite even. South Africa are nudging possession, carries are equal, tackles made equal, meters made, not much in it. The penalty, though, tally, Ireland conceded 11. You try not to concede 11 in 80. Yeah. They conceded 11 in 40.
Yeah, you would have given that as a kind of mark. If you're going to win a game, you want the penalty count into single figures, and you look at South Africa there on 5. But you're right, everything else, it looks, the stats, can lie, but there's been a dominance from this South African team, and I would pay money to be in Andy Farrell's dressing room, because we've seen him spiky over the week. He's addressing loaded questions and different things like this. Well, no, there's a bit of self-reflection for that team, because they have to find a way and answer, because it could be a long day if they don't.
Yeah, one more, Donica, before you have a well-earned break, because that's as chaotic a half of rugby as I can remember. It's a bit of a cliche, but when you're playing a team with the tools South Africa have, you've got to be accurate, you've got to take your chances. And we go back to that James Ryan lapse, which kind of started the train of ill-discipline from this Ireland team. And it happened just before they scored, to level the score. They would have kicked for the lead and all that. And yeah, you just got to be. I know you've got to match their physicality. How do you match physicality and keep it clean at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always the quest of the great leaders. You look at fortunate for me, I've been in a dressing room with the likes of Paul O'Connell and Brian O'Driscoll, and they've demanded that physicality. They want, but measured, and that's what this Irish team has probably lacked a little bit. I think the endeavour and the want to be physical has been incredible, but I think that those moments, and the one I go back to is the Jack Crowley one. It's just it's a sloppy error that will really cost his team. The James Ryan one as well, I know it's difficult for him to change, but he's not even looking anymore, Chris. He's hitting him with the shoulder, the outside shoulder, that you would never coach a kid to, you hit with your inside and make sure you can view it the whole time. He was reckless, and it's the right call.
Great stuff, Donica. Fascinating first 40. Ireland 7, South Africa 19. Ireland getting on the board, scoring a try through Sheehan with 13 men. They've since gone down to 12. They'll get Sam Prendergast back a couple of minutes into the second half, but wow, I can't remember a Tier 1 team going down to 12. I can't ever remember. I mean, I know Wales had a game in the tour of South Africa 2022, I think it was, when they went 1 point were hemorrhaging cards, but it's often against South Africa, isn't it? Because of the pressure.
Absolutely. You feel like going the other way and asking, could we actually have more players, like an underage match? You're winning and you're so dominant, we're going to put on 2 guys on either wing. But it's not the case. And look, I think everyone's chatted about Rassie as well, that he's never won in Dublin. I think I'm a little bit worried, Chris, that the motivation to actually go after this Irish team, say blood in the water, whatever it is, you were here for the French game. This is a chance to absolutely take a massive World Rugby scalp and knock confidence for good.
Well, and what a test then of Ireland's fortitude, not just in the second half, but going forward with the box 19-7 up, with numerous men up and sniffing Irish blood. 19-7, back at the Aviva with the second half commentary in the next 10 minutes. But let's look ahead to tomorrow. England play Argentina. Big game as they look for an autumn clean sweep and an 11 straight win. And they've got a multiple British Lion back in their ranks. Elliot Daly is back for England on the wing tomorrow. It's his first game of rugby since breaking his arm while playing for the British and Irish Lions in Australia. Daly's been chatting to Sarah Orchard about that incident and his time out of action.
It feels like it's gone slowly, but now it feels like it's gone quick. Now I'm back, but I've just been looking forward to getting back. I've been training sort of a lot and not been able to play and get the sign off. So got the sign off last week, so I'm really excited to get out there again and try and help the team as much as possible.
Let's do some technicals as much as you are allowed, because I know this is a medical issue. What exactly did you do to the arm and what shape is it in now?
I fractured my radius.
Okay.
In a few places, let's put it that way.
Plates, screws,
yeah,
what you
I've got plate in my arm now with screws and all the way down my arm. Yeah.
And that's in forever now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. And can you feel it?
No,
or?
I haven't felt it. It hasn't been painful the whole time. Weirdly, even when I did it, it wasn't that painful. It just felt a little bit weird. but yeah, after the operation, I walked in with a cast on and walked out without a cast on. So that's not the way you think it's going to go. But no, surgery went really well. A bit longer than expected because there was a bit more in there than he thought.
Right.
But yeah, it was all fixed, all ready to go. But yeah, I haven't really felt it. Been progressing really nicely, and yeah, got to the point where they give me a sign off, ready to go.
And we've seen some pictures of you training where you've got the black sort of cast over it. Are you going to play in that at the weekend, or is that?
Yeah, it's just like it's not really. It's just like give me a little bit more protection. It's not really like it's just like a soft thing, just in case I get a hit on it. But I mean, it's rugby, so you're gonna get hits on it, and I have done it already. So it's just precautionary, really.
And just on that, I mean, does it irritate you? Is it something that's a permanent fixture now forever?
Yeah, it's permanent. I think. Well, I think so. But yeah, it's one of those things that it doesn't bother me. You don't feel it when it's on your arm, so it's one of those that wear it to keep the medics happy, and then get out there.
So who was it that finally gave you sign off? Because we knew that you were back in full training last week. Didn't quite get the selection for New Zealand, but who's the one who goes, okay, you're good to play?
It was probably a group effort of all the surgeons. There was 2 surgeons that worked on me, and then they had another guy that they really trust who had a look at the scans and stuff like that. And then we spoke to, obviously, Sarries medics, England medics. So there was quite a few people on this call. But
On a call?
Yeah, it was a Zoom call. And then we kind of left it because it was going on for a while. And then we had like a chat about it after, and just got to the point of me doing all my contacts, doing this, doing that, ticking all the boxes, so they were happy with it.
And is there sort of like a certain amount of weight or load that you have to be able to put through the arm to know that it's okay?
It was kind of just progressing. Like, I've been at 100% weights now for 4 or 5 weeks, but at the start, obviously, you don't want to do it anything too early. But you want to stress it a little bit because the bone actually responds to stress and heals quicker. So it was a bit of a balance with the guys at Sarries, but Laura's done a really good job of me.
Any PBs?
Oh yeah, always PBs. Always, yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what they are because that's ridiculous, but always PBs.
Great answer. Okay. As I said, you were available last week. Didn't quite get the nod. What was it like when Steve said, "Okay, you're in"?
No, it's brilliant. I think it's just one of those where I'm just watching this team grow, and I just want to try and add to it as much as possible. And it's the performance on Saturday was outstanding, and I think performance the last 3 games especially has been brilliant at home, being back at Twickenham and Allianz Stadium. So yeah, it's one of those that I'm just raring to go, ready to go, and I just can't wait.
I know this is a question that follows you throughout your career now, but when Steve says you're playing, is it the whole thing of where?
I did ask him that question, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I'm looking forward to it. I don't. When I'm in this England squad, I don't mind where I play. It's different to when you're playing for your club. The way we play, the way we attack, the way we defend, you're always in the game, whatever position you are. So I'm looking forward to trying to just add to the team as much as possible. Come off my wing and try and help the guys out.
Steve has spoken a lot about versatility. You are the Swiss Army knife and have been for a little while. I was just curious, has he asked you ever to train anywhere else? Have you been slotted in at 10 or 12 at any point?
12 sometimes if there's a few injuries, but not 10. I think I did play. I played 10 away once when we had a few yellow cards, but it's one of those that you kind of know what you're doing, just get on with it. And if Steve wants me to play 10, I will. But yeah, it's one of those that especially if you're on the sub teams, as I have been the last sort of few weeks, you kind of slot in and try and play to your strengths of the team you're playing against, whether it's Fiji or New Zealand or that type of team. You try and slot in as much as possible to help the team.
When it comes to Argentina, different experiences depending where you've been in the squad over the summer about how much experience you've had of them and in what way. But for the team that actually travelled away, they'll be quite bouncing. A few of the Lions players probably might have a score to settle. What's the approach?
I think it's the approach to every game. I think obviously in the summer, as you said, a few different experiences, but I think the way that the England boys went about the business over there was brilliant. And watching that from afar was great to watch, and I think the game plan really came together. We know how dangerous they are as a team, how physical they can be, and how they want to get in the aerial contest. So I think those 2 things are going to be massive this weekend.
And how different is the Argentina that we would have seen either against the Lions or arguably when England went over and toured? Having played all the Rugby Championship, they're unbeaten now. How different are they?
Yeah, I think they probably are a little bit different. I think they have a lot more confidence in the way they're playing. But as you said, it's the way that it's their kind of last game of their cycle, and it's kind of not the start of ours, but it's getting towards the start of ours. So it's one of those games where we're confident, and obviously they're confident. So hopefully it'll be a good game of rugby.
Who do you really rate in that back line?
Oh, there's a few players. I think that their wingers are always stardust. Whoever plays really. And then probably obviously playing with Juan Gonzalez at Sarries, where I know how good he is. He's got pace to burn as well, so we're looking out for those guys.
Tell me, what was the reaction in the camp to the TikTok video?
Well, I didn't know it happened. But,
do you have TikTok, Elliot?
No, I don't have TikTok.
Don't worry.
I'm probably too old for TikTok, to be totally honest. But let the young lads do what they want to do.
Was there a bit of a generational divide?
I think there's a generational divide with TikTok, yeah,
Okay.
I'd say.
All right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I have to look at it for work.
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
But you're not doing the dances.
And I've got a few years on you. I've never been involved in a TikTok dance, have no ambitions ever to.
There are a few fines going around, which are TikTok dances in the squad. So that's kind of the fine system. So I just don't want to get fined, basically, is what's...
So you get fined if you've done a TikTok
No,
dance?
the fine is a TikTok video. So if you do something wrong, you do a TikTok video.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
But it doesn't have to go on TikTok.
Okay.
So I won't have to download it. If that makes
Okay,
sense.
how much are you allowed to tell me about who has been fined?
I can't, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness.
Because I am part of the fines committee with Jamie George.
Oh, you've got to be very careful here.
Oh,
then.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Are you allowed to find coaches?
Yes.
Oh.
Anyone, he might get fined. We'll never know.
The press officer. I'm just trying to think how we could persuade you. I love your head coach dearly, but I would pay good money to see Steve Borthwick in a TikTok dance video.
Just ask him next time.
Well,
Just straight
I'm
off the
about
bat.
to interview him after this,
Yeah.
and I know the reaction I'm going to get, so I was just wondering if you find if it would actually happen.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, all right then. One of the members of the TikTok dance video, young Henry Pollock, has been nominated for Breakthrough Player of the Year. I know he found out in the change room after the game. What was the reaction from the rest of you?
No, brilliant. I think the way he goes about his business, I think, has been great. I think the way that he plays the game, he's a massive competitor. He's obviously got X Factor as well, and he's bringing that to whatever team he plays for at the moment. So, no, really happy for him, and hopefully he goes on and wins it.
Was there any disappointment there wasn't any other players named on any other lists that were named?
I don't really know. Probably, maybe. I don't know what people think about it, but we know how good the group is here and what we're building towards and what we're building at the moment. So I think we don't really worry about that kind of stuff from the outside. We know how good the players are here, and I know it's cliche, but we need to win this weekend, so that's all we're thinking about.
And talking of that, obviously this would be 11 test wins in a row if you get over the line. It would also mean that last time Argentina actually came to Twickenham, they beat you guys. How significant is this win to you all?
Oh, massively. I think every game that we play at home is massive. I think the way that we played the game the last year and a half has been great. The attacking mindset we've had, the physicality in defence. So it doesn't change whatever game it is, and it's massive to have it at home as well. So we want to put in another good performance.
Elliot Daly in conversation with Sarah. Big old game for England tomorrow. Looking forward to getting to Twickenham for that one. England against Argentina, and we'll have commentary on Sports Extra of England's final game of the autumn as they go for that clean sweep, and they go for a year in which they only would have lost once here at the Aviva Stadium, and since then it's been 10 straight wins. The Borthwick side going for an 11th with Elliot Daly back in the side. The players are out. Donnacha O'Callaghan, Ireland 7, South Africa 19. The referee and his assistants got roundly booed by the crowd. Ireland, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're starting with 12 men in this second half.
Yeah, and they were out early as well, Chris. You wondered, Andy Farrell having a word with him, but just even small things, timing off the run there. Oh, of course, Mac Hansen has to kick off.
They've got no 10. So Hansen, now if you're South Africa, you just run it, don't you? Surely you, or maybe they're trying to play. It's 15 on 12. I don't know why you'd go to the air. I mean, who am I to criticise the tactics of the double World Cup winning Springboks?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm looking through a slightly naive lens. Good carry, Paddy McCarthy.
Paddy McCarthy, yeah.
Really good. Now, what could you train maybe down to 14 or 13, but you never train down to 12. Ireland on the halfway line, they've got no fly half. Matt Hansen is kind of stepping up. They don't want to kick and give broken field to the box, but they can't really keep resourcing the ball with 3 men down. So they'll go contestable. Gibson Park's kick is pretty good, perfectly weighted, but then the ricochet goes to the went about 10 metres back. Kind of, this is the danger of batting the ball back, isn't it? The bounce of the rugby ball means you can win the kick back in inverted commas and then send your scrum half scampering back. South Africa line out, 10 metre line.
Absolutely, and you touched on a fascinating area of the game, Chris, and you're even in on the lingo with crumbing, finding the bits that fall off, and you also have scouts that go beyond the ball. These are all things these players will practice an awful lot, and with limited numbers between Gibson Park and Matt Hansen able to get some way of it, and there's a bit of a cheer around the place because Ireland have got a call.
Well, crumbs has been the word of the autumn, and Prendergast is back on. Okay, so Ireland are up to the heady numbers of 13. They actually have someone to execute kickoffs as well as Matt Hansen did. So Prendergast is on, and Ireland are, coaches always say to us, we want adversity. So I think playing 12 on 15 against the double World Cup winners is probably, that's your limit of adversity, surely.
And you're seeing the contrast. They cut Andy Farrell in the coaching box and he is laughing. We heard about this in the Scottish game when they went down numbers as well, that he thrives in these kind of moments.
Have they got penalty advantage? They have got penalty advantage as Gibson Park kicks, and then Moody takes it really well, but we're going to go back for the penalty, aren't we? Yeah, we are. So, penalty to Ireland at 19-7. I'll tell you what, Ireland have played their best stuff with 13 men.
Absolutely. Not surprised as well, Chris, especially just after half-time, coming out of that dressing room with the likes of Andy Farrell, you wonder what you have to do here, though. You'd certainly take your points, Chris, don't you?
To wind the clock down, surely.
Well, it's a terrible position to be in because you've got to chase the scoreboard as well.
They're 19-7 down. Yeah. Oh God, this has been I was going to say for us neutrals, Donica, with all your Ireland caps, we can forgive you if you're I was going to say green slanted, but white slanted today with Ireland all in white. But it's been, I'm trying to think of a more suitable word than fascinating. Completely engrossing. It's a game of carnage and chaos. Ireland have a chance to go within 9. Prendergast missed his kick that led to ended up with Burns scoring, ruled out. Ryan 20-minute red. Since then, Ireland have lost 3 other men to the sin bin. They're now up to 13. Prendergast, gotta kick this. You heard someone behind us saying, go on Sam, get over, and the ball obliges. Good kick, Prendergast. Way harder than the one he hit the post. Ireland 10, South Africa 19, 4 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, you wonder, has this got shades of Liverpool and Istanbul, that there's some Irish supporters on the way down the road listening to it, kind of going, maybe I should have hung around. You want to see this from the Springboks, though. If they're, are the strive for 3 in a row, you want to see them drop the hammer here and be ruthless and put this Irish team to the sword if they can.
Okay, so the people listening who 99.99% of our audience won't have played pro rugby, explain why when you're 12 and 15 the Boxers didn't keep the ball in the hand.
Yeah, I think because they're so respectful of their game plan.
Right.
And I actually think they're nearly half fearful to go away from it, just with the coaching calls. And you've seen Razzie in those. You're right, you could race the ace and try to get to the corner and really make them struggle. But I think this South African team are really disciplined in how they attack, and they don't do that in that area of the pitch. We've seen it from our days with Razzie in Munster. He certainly respects the kicking zone to get out of their half, and you can see they're in a kick exit strategy there and respectful to it to get out.
But it is a box scrum now, and they are in the part of the pitch where they come alive, like all great teams.
It's also a great use of energy, Chris, I'll be honest with you, because you can, you can go there to try to get to the edge, and you hopefully will get a break. But to quote the kind of movies, it's the Moneyball one, all the stats say kicking is rewarded in that area in the pitch, and we're hearing so much about kick the kilometre in different areas of the kicking game. Well, it's certainly rewarded in that area.
Ireland 10, South Africa 19, 13-man Ireland. Crowley I assume Tommy O'Brien has failed his HIA, but he might be able to come another scrum penalty. This box scrum, what a weapon it is. Reinach to the right, Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu, lovely dummy's going to score against 13 men, too easy. Glorious try from the youngster who's taking the rugby world and proving what he can do at the very highest level. Magnificent try from Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu, and there's daylight now on the scoreboard.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic bit of play, great attack. Gibson Park doing everything to try to find a way to get inside, but just got sat down. And this guy has been an incredible find. What a talent, exciting every time he gets on the ball. Look at that, Gibson Park. We know he's a great defender. That fend to get away, and what a finish.
Yeah, I think if that's 15 on 15, you could ask real questions of the defence, but they just stretch there.
I agree. And honestly, Chris, not just saying that, at international level, you're chatting even little metres around you, just against such quality, can really expose you. And just to be down the amount of numbers leads to more space to these incredible footwork players. And you can see Gibson Park, what all he's want is trying to get across there, but there's just too much space for him to cover. It doesn't help that he sees Sam Prendergast outside him, showing him his number. A real, in rugby, a kind of disrespectful thing to do. It's like, basically, you look after that area, you should always try to have your shoulders square and upfield, never facing the touchline. Maybe Sam could have helped him more there, but
kick off from Prendergast, taken in by Ruan Nokir. 7 minutes into the second half.
Oh, let it out. Ireland enough.
The gap,
You're
14.
19, stop.
Ireland 10, South Africa 24. Remember, Ireland started the second half, Connor, with 12 men. They're since up to 13, but Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu had a run to the line, handed off Gibson Park, making the most of the 2 extra numbers. Ireland did kick 3 points at the start of the second half to get back into it, but South Africa have since opened a bit of daylight, and now you feel South Africa are sniffing Irish vulnerability. Ireland 10, South Africa 24 as we edge towards the 50-minute mark in Dublin.
On the cross.
Yeah, just updating our 5 live listeners. The Newcastle City game with Connor and the team. Penalty South Africa, and now they have the line out. And Ireland are in a position where if this was a 10-all game, Donica, you run down the clock. Oh, they're now Crowley's back. They're up to 14. But you can't run down the clock when you're 14 points down.
Absolutely, you have to find a way to kind of get back into this game as well. It doesn't help with the fact that South Africa are limbering up RG Snyman to win his 50th cap. Just seen there on the screen, he just had such strength and depth. 4-man line out here for South Africa. We should see some point of a play to really expose this Irish shortened attack line. Bundyaki doing a great job to get in and get on the ball.
Up against Jesse Creel, Damien De Lander's first receiver. Feinberg and Ngomazulu, lovely hands. Peter Steph to toy. Malcolm Marks is on this edge. Guards forward pass, surely, but Malcolm Marks is down the left touchline. Everyone around us felt it was forward. They'll check that, but they are rampaging towards the line through the aforementioned Peter Steph. Paddy McCarthy, what a steal. The ref is happy. Clean turnover. What an intervention from the young prop. And Ireland have snuffed out that Springbok attack, but only just. I do wonder if that ball from Peter Steph to Marks was forward. But Ireland haven't conceded. The gap stays at 14. Ireland 10, South Africa 24. And Gibson Park can't really get his kick away. And it will be a South African line out inside the 22. And this is where, if you are a man down and 14 points down, you need Gibson Park to be eking every metre out of that. And when they go, they can just go to their set piece, can't they, the box?
Yeah, difficult one to kick, especially when it's that far in. RG Snyman comes into the fray. Gets a mixed response on his 50th cap, of course. Leinster fans around the place are well used to seeing him tugging out and would all be about him, but when he's going against the Irish team, he's not really a fan's favourite, but what an incredible achievement, 50 caps especially. For a player that always brings such impact.
We're 15 on 15, but because Paddy McCarthy's gone off, Porter's back on, and Josh van der Flier, who was sacrificed, is now back in his red scrum. Can Africa win the line-up, get the penalty advantage? This power game is extraordinary. Ireland 10, South Africa 24, there's the penalty. Whether it's a scrum or the maul, it's almost instantaneous, isn't it? They set up, they win the penalty.
Yeah, and it's good to see, Chris. I'll be honest with you, we worry about the fatigue elements, and if the standard bearers, the likes of South Africa, value it, then other teams will chase this. You know, if you haven't got a scrum, if you haven't got a maul, you go nowhere in World Rugby. And this South African team, they can play it all, but there's certainly value in the one that is probably the most difficult.
Yeah, an all-conquering team based on their set piece, adding more and more layers to their game. It's a formidable prospect for opposition, as France have found out, as Italy have found out, and now Ireland are finding out. Jasper Wiese, good defence by Ryan Baird, but Wiese is only 3 metres out after South Africa won that line out. Doris is in there too. That's really good defence from the Ireland back row, and you can tell from this knowledgeable Aviva crowd that Ireland are going to win the scrum here. Yes, they are. Great defence, and Ireland are celebrating like they've won the game. Well, the Ireland fans certainly are.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit careful about celebrating winning a scrum. I'd be asking the ref any chance of a line-out, please. But yeah, this Irish team finding a way to get in. Doris Nolan, it's gone over the 15. Ryan Baird, brilliant by the leader here, Caelan Doris. It's over the 15, so he's entitled to get in that place. The old formatted choke tackle, and then all his teammates finding a way to get over and stop that at a critical point. But big scrum here, Andrew Porter back on. He's certainly on notice in terms of already with a yellow card, and just painting the picture really matters, Chris. You know, he has a short bind, and it just does not look good sometimes. If you have that long and strong, was what you'd always say to your kind of loose head, to just give the impression, but he's a tight arm bind, and it doesn't look great some of the times, especially when you do get tipped into the bin.
Oh, South Africa put a huge shove on. Gibson Park tries to get it away. He does very well, actually. Oh, that's a great kick. He's almost taken it to the halfway line, and he was under serious duress as South Africa went to work. And whatever level of scrum half play, you're only as good as the platform laid by your forwards, and somehow he's managed to take that 50 metres when he was being pedalled backwards along with the Ireland scrum.
Yeah, remarkable from him, really is. That's all retreating on him in front of him, and he actually gets to see one of his leaders, Dan Sheehan, being popped up. That South African scrum, really, honestly, it's so dangerous, so damaging, and just winning the massive moments in this game. And it'll lead to fatigue. You look at Furlong, you look at Porter, that will take it out of their legs.
Well, Andre Esterhuizen is on, the title-winning centre with ex-Harlequins player. Oh, actually, no, that's Quagga Smith wearing 20, so their numbers are wrong.
Great spot.
Because Esterhuizen is down wearing 21, but that's definitely not Andre Esterhuizen. That's definitely Quagga Smith, isn't it? Anyway, Quagga Smith is wearing 21.
We're inside Ireland's half.
And it's going to be an Ireland scrum, so they're not. Weirdly, they've given a few not straights, haven't they? Which is much welcome. Fields of Athenry. First time we've heard that this evening in Dublin. Halfway line, right below us. Dan Sheehan to throw. Ireland 10, South Africa 24. Cian Prendergast has a tumble but does well to win the line out. Swung into centre field. Ball back inside from Aki to Van der Fleer. And then Gibson Park goes to the sky. That one's gone high, not too far. Williamson comes forward. Oh, Hansen's onto the rebound, and he storms away almost up to 22. Can they execute here, Ireland? They have parity in terms of numbers, but not in terms of the scoreboard. A converted try, though, would take it to 7 as the fans sing at the Aviva. Furlong short ball to Tyg Byrne. Centre field, 25 out. Penalty advantage, Ireland. Huge roar from the Aviva. Prendergast and Crowley, who are both on. And the ball was spun out to Sheehan, who then Hail Mary pass from Dan Sheehan. That's very impressive. Penalty given for the box not rolling. What does Caelan Doris decide here? He's got Alan Walters scampering on with the water. Are they going to kick the pen, are they?
Yeah, I think
I'm surprised at that at 24-10.
Yeah, I can understand it though, Chris. You're kind of, 2 scores off it anyway. How can you pitch into it? How can you manage your forwards? and look after them. Worryingly for this Irish team, Mac Hansen, we see brilliant line break from him, but getting a bit of treatment. A lot of talk about his hand all this week, heavily taped up, but he's a point of difference player that they need, and especially when they've lost young Tommy O'Brien early in the match. Whatever about the amount of structures of red cards and yellow cards, they're also with 2 out halves on the pitch and trying to navigate that.
It's been kicked by Prendergast nicely. Ireland 13, South Africa 24, and Esterhuizen is wearing 20, Kwagga Smith wearing 21, so the team announcement has been changed. So Andre Esterhuizen, the sort of hybrid player, is not on yet. They've used 4 of their bench out the box. And now Ronan Kelleher is on for Dan Sheehan. The gap 11 points, 25 minutes to go. It's not over as a contest, especially now it's 15 on 15. It's just hard to see the box relinquishing their dominance here. And they're on to that really quickly from the kickoff. And suddenly they come alive, don't they? Willems is up from fullback. Reinach, nice ball, marks to that man. Willems, a lovely dummy from the first try scorer, gets it away to Creel. Creel, 7 or 8 metres out the Springbok centre. Here goes Snyman. Good tackle by Kelleher, but he gets the offload away. Reinach's already got 1 try. He wants another to the left of the post, 6 metres out. Smith digs for the ball, finds Peter Steff, the relentless, indomitable Peter Steff du Toit. Here is Kwagga Smith now under the Irish crossbar. 24-13 the lead as Ireland desperately try to get the ball in the breakdown, and they win the penalty. And Prendergast is going nuts celebrating, geeing up his forwards. There's spirit in this Irish side, even if you feel the box have them completely where they want them. And they've scrambled well in there, have Ireland, to win the penalty underneath their own crossbar, quite literally.
Yeah, great poach. Keane Prendergast came on quite early, out there now with his brother and looking out for him a little bit more, but a vital turnover at a critical point, because he just felt if South Africa managed to hold on to the ball there, Chris, there's only one way that's going.
Yeah, had that foreboding feel about it, that attack, didn't it? With the box coming around the corner in waves.
Yeah. The scoreboard is quite remarkable, isn't it? Because it doesn't feel that way. I don't mean to be harsh, but it's 11-point game with 57 minutes gone, and you think this South African team should be out of sight. You know, this Irish team could feel a little bit of hope if they can stick in it and find a way to get the next score.
Not part of the tackle.
Yeah, can they just work their way up the pitch, take another 3, even a try, and take it to a 1-score game? I mean, the fans just they're so engaged. They know that every single little battle is huge for Ireland, given the adversity they're constantly facing. They've lost the line out. Smith's on that. Great carry from Kwagga Smith. Now Reinach to Deerlande. Into the 22 goes the Springbok centre. Reinach's got options right, but more of them is to the left, and he sends a big pass out to Smith. He flicks it, and then the little kick through for Peter Steff. Mac Hansen, oh, what a grab from Peter Steff du Toit, and he somehow laid it back for Kane Moody. Oh, what skill from the box. There's Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu, 15 metres in from this near touchline. 10 metres out now, South Africa, as we edge towards the hour mark on Sports Extra. Live from Dublin. Big carry coming in by the Bok forwards. Marks is in there to lend his weight. Reinach digs for the ball. Penalty advantage, South Africa. Here goes Snyman. How did he get that away? Reinach wasn't expecting it. That was a proper Sonny Bill offload from RJ Snyman. And then Reinach fumbled it. Probably out of surprise more than anything, but as always the case in this game, there's a penalty advantage, South Africa. What is the penalty count now, Donncha? 12 pens conceded. I'm sure it's more than that because it was 11 at half time. Esterhuizen, Andre Esterhuizen, is now on for Khaleesi. So the centre, the title-winning centre, is playing on the flank, as he's been doing a bit this year. And Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu is off. And Mani Libbok is on. So Rassie Erasmus almost emptying his whole bench.
Funny seeing them running on though and saying take the scrum, especially when you've quality backs. You think they'd want the ball. No chance. They know they're dominant and they'll find a way, have the penalty advantage, and then they've their time to shine.
Well, if you're just joining us on Sports Extra, it's been a remarkable hour of rugby. Ireland 13, South Africa 24. The score barely tells an iota of the story. Ireland have had James Ryan 20-minute red card, 3 other yellow cards. They started the second half with 12. They scored a try with 13. They kicked a penalty with 13. It's now 15 on 15. But the box power game has been so exceptional. Every scrum they've been winning a penalty, almost without fail. Every maul they've been rolling Ireland. And then they've also shown some dazzling skills with the likes of Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu scoring. Damien Willemse early on in the match. Offloads from Peter Steff and Andre Estes and coming on the flank. That is a little bit of the story of this mad game. South Africa, you feel that analogy of someone on a cliff clinging on, and South Africa sort of peering down on Ireland and just about to stamp the foot on the fingers.
Agreed, and I think everyone, non-Irish people, will be looking at the South African team wondering, are they willing to tee up, or are they really that ruthless to take the scalp and dominate this Irish team and find a way to make the scoreboard even greater?
Quagga Smith, number 8, peels around the corner, runs straight at Sam Prendergast. Cobus Reinhardt digs. Out it comes to the forwards, next to the left upright. Will they keep it tight? Will they go wide? Jesse Creel's going to score, isn't he? Up to the line, or is he held up? Creel. Matt Carley's had a long look, and it's a goal line, but coming back for another penalty with Ireland offside. And now you scrub, and there's going to be more yellow cards coming because it's just relentless pressure.
Yeah, and you'd worry for Porter because he's already on 1. You know, how do you balance that?
3, 1 and 7 replacement.
They take him off. Yeah, that's what you do. Andy Farrell. Well, Paddy McCarthy's been really good in his little cameos.
Absolutely, short at scrum time, but also finding a way to maybe add around the game in terms of turnover. Big one for Beelum as well, probably left out of the squad in the last while, and loads of players coming through. You know, he'll need a big performance. Those guys will be frustrated though. They got put to the test today against a fantastic South African scrum, and now we see, have the Irish replacements got the answer.
So Paddy McCarthy is on, Finlay Beelum is on for Furlong, Jack Conan coming on as well for Ryan Baird, I believe. So one of Conan or Doris will move to the flank.
Yeah, Ryan Baird doesn't look well.
Yeah, limping off. He's become a really good player for Ireland, Ryan Baird, and at his age, you feel that there's plenty of time in an Ireland shirt for him.
Yeah, a big jersey to fill, I suppose. Peter O'Mahony so dominant in it for so long, and a little bit of frustration. You always want players coming through and nearly taking it off the likes of Peter O'Mahony's back. That wasn't the case. Everyone's interested. Can Ryan Baird really push on? He's been exciting over this autumn international, but he's certainly a player that an awful lot of coaches rate, and hopefully we can see some of his best rugby over the next coming few months. But unfortunately, due to injury, we lose him for the rest of this game.
But time, Jack Conan goes into the fray. Multiple Lion, test match Lion, just what you need coming off the bench. And this is the thing, Donnachar, it's been a theme of the autumn. This is proper 23-man rugby these days, isn't it? Look what England are doing with their bench, what the Boks have done with their bench.
Yeah, you're right, Chris, and it's the worry for us. It genuinely is.
And same with Scotland, Wales, with not huge player pools.
Like, you look at what South Africa are doing, you know, you could look maybe at 3 squads, and look, the Irish model, of course, we have the central contracts, and Leinster are the dominant team that feed to it, but I think the way the game is going, you have to find a way to be developing more. Personally, I would always feel that, you know, it is good for the Irish teams if the league goes on during this time, so that other players are getting an opportunity to at least improve and get better. I worry.
Another penalty, South Africa at the scrum. It's such an interesting point because I know the game is still in balance, so we can't go off on too many tangents, but it's just the fact that you think not having an overlap is a good thing, but there's always a drawback. You can make one thing in rugby and then there's always an unintended consequence.
Agreed, and you don't want to penalise the clubs that are dominant, and that should never be the case. You need to get the balance right in it. But my fear, Chris, is that we're ending up with these fantastic top-end players that are playing all the rugby. We see them all the time, but we're not integrating enough grassroots players to just get time and learn and improve. They're all training at the moment, but very few of them are playing.
Yeah, the problem in England too, with a shortened league season, no overlap, a lot of good young kids don't quite get the game time, probably better than it used to be, but still always things for the governing bodies to look at. There's going to be a yellow card here, is there? Another clap scrum, and Matt Carley's going to have a word.
He must engage with his head above his hips after 2 scrums in a row. He's not giving me a lot of options. Scrummage up, please.
So Paddy McCarthy, what's been happening is the scrum's been forming and the Boks have been driving Ireland back, who've then given a penalty. Now Ireland are going to ground according to the ref, and there's a penalty straight away. So either way you look at it, it's a penalty, and it's now 15 penalties conceded by Ireland. I mean, they could be up to 20 by the end of the game, which just gives you an indication of the pressure they've been under practically from the starting gun. 61 minutes gone in Dublin. The game is still theoretically in the balance, but South Africa are camped on the Ireland 5-metre line, and they have options aplenty. They can keep it in the scrum and look for another penalty try. They've got Canan Moody behind the scrum. They've got Manny Lebok. They've got Damien Deolande, Jesse Creel, Cheslin Colby, all of them wanting the ball, but also going, well, if you want to keep it in the forwards, do that too. Another penalty advantage. Reinach shapes to go right, then goes left. Lovely wide ball coming here to the stepping Moody. Moody is well tackled by Gary Ringrose. Still penalty advantage. Matt Carley's going back, and I think it's another yellow card. It has to be. It's 3 offences. So it's a 5th yellow card for Ireland today. One of them was upgraded to a 20-minute red. Paddy McCarthy's in the bin, and the crowd can boo, but if you give away 3 penalties in the red zone for the same-ish offence, it has to be a yellow card, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and he's in no position. He's warned you, he's told you. And look, the honest truth, Chris, is the players know it as well. You have to find the answer there, and sometimes when you come up against a dominant pack and they're on it like they are today, you know, this South African team, yeah, I hate to do it again, but they brought a lump hammer today, and they've absolutely said we're using it all day long. And here they again, penalty, and what do? They take a scrum.
I mean, we're laughing almost out of just kind of disbelief at the whole thing.
It's a case of mercy, please.
It's like they're slightly keeping, the game is staying in the balance, but they, like a big bully, they've got Ireland pinned for their lunch money. And could have taken it, but seems to want to just extend the process. Just take the money. Have my 50p. Anyway, Ireland 13, South Africa 24. I mean, guts and determination from Ireland to hang in this fight. But we are seeing one of the most physically imposing teams that have ever played the game. Quite probably the most physically imposing team that's ever played rugby union.
Absolutely, and look, it will be a frustration. I think all of us want to see moving ball and high ball and play time, but there's a fundamental to our game, and it's a set piece, and it's over the last while it's probably been a little bit undervalued and undermined. Well, South Africa are saying we're the best team in the world right now, and ours is the best, and if you want to catch up, you need to have a set-piece battle.
And look, we can talk all we like about the game and ball in play, and Rugby World Cups can hinge on scrums and pens, and it's cost England the last 2, cost them in finals, cost them in semi-finals, reset by the way now. And it's been a focus of, I think, certain teams to go, okay, if South Africa are doing this, we've got to try and match it. And this is where a team like Ireland, the setup so well, maybe just don't quite have the raw materials against a team like the Boks.
Yeah, absolutely. And just even when it comes to sizing, you know what I mean? Just as a nation, that size of South African people as well, they're quite remarkable, incredibly strong, and they seem to, of course, playing population, they can dominate on areas like that, but it's said in France, no scrum, no win. Well, today is an absolute example of that.
Ireland 13, South Africa 24. Rock solid Springbok scrum. Which way do they go? Right or left? Reinach to Deolande was the dummy runner. Then Manny Lebok. Still good defence from Ireland. Matt Hansen was shooting up from the line there. Peter Steph-Toy, he gets it onto Stamen. Another penalty advantage. Offload to Deolande. South Africa, as so often has been the case, they play with an extra man. Reinach is caught, but he's sniping around the right side of the ruck. 2 metres out the box, no scrum half, so Peter Steff will go in there. And another offside penalty against Ireland. But a good example there of Peter Steff when he cleared. He made such an ostentatious wrap, and that's where James Ryan went wrong in the first half. Good, clean efficient play from the box with another penalty.
Absolutely. And look, we chat about world nominations for player of the year. This guy's been at the level for so long, and you look at his game today, I think it's an audition, nearly a battle between his fellow teammates in some of those, but just when it comes to the right thing at the right time, he is a player you would love to have in your squad. What a talent, what a player, and certainly someone that deserves that nomination.
And because he's knocking about in Japan, he doesn't play much rugby. He's always super fresh for the box.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like a French player going to the well 26 times in a club season.
But they've managed to use it so well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they've placed some players in England and France where their game have gone up a level, or in Ireland in, say, Sneijder or Deerlande's case, and others have gone to Japan at this where they can manage their minutes and be absolutely firing for the box. One in the line out by South Africa, 5 metres out or so. Malcolm Marx at the back of the maul. He peels away now. He's a couple of metres out. And South Africa trying to put this game to bed. They lead by 24-13 with a quarter of an hour to go. They are 2 or 3 metres out. A 5th yellow card for Ireland means the Irish are a man down as Ireland try and spoil, and they've survived the game. Incredible, heroic stuff from Ireland really to somehow stay in this contest, because they have been battered and bullied all afternoon by this fierce Springbok outfit. Gibson Park clears, and the noise around Dublin Connor is like they've won the match. They're still 11 points down with 15 to go. Ireland 13, South Africa 24. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? Because you get those cheers normally when you wrap up a title.
Absolutely, for a box kick to exit. It was celebrated like one of Troy Parrott's goals.
Yeah, we can still see the centre circle from the international break. What's happening here? Reinach is cut. Well, this is big, because even if Ireland lose, which is eminently probable, they can still make a call this last 15 minutes, stay in the fight, go toe-to-toe, build and grow. Or if just the wheels fall off, the dam completely bursts and the box run up 2 or 3 tries, then that's a different story, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's hard to kind of verbalise that. Right now we're actually watching two teams and we'll question it. We'll question it afterwards. Did Ireland fall away, or were Springboks ruthless and found a way to get over the line? You're right, this game's still in the hopper in moments like that.
Just incredible that Ireland didn't concede there, with the box penalty upon penalty upon penalty. Rassie Erasmus be seething, but Andy Farrell will be dead proud, albeit he'll be disappointed. Ireland are 11 points down, and again the box press. Peter Steff, he didn't get the offload away, or if he did, it went straight into the hands of James Lowe. And Ireland again snuff out that attack.
Not now.
But do they have the energy to get back and put some rugby together to stretch South Africa? That's nice intricate play. Finlay Bealham in some Aviva Stadium expanse, and now Gibson Park spins it to the left. Cian Prendergast, Sam Prendergast. Sneijder was out the line on his clubmate very, very quickly. It's not the man you want hunting you down, is it? Gibson Park now finds Caelan Doris, short ball to Ronan Kelleher, but they are on the wrong part of the pitch. They have to slightly throw caution, because the gap is 11 points on the scoreboard. And the time is ticking, 13 and a bit minutes to go. Sports Extra, live at the Aviva, this remarkable game of rugby as Gibson Park's kick. That's perfect. Forward comes South Africa. Was that knocked on by the box? No referee happy, and the crumbs are, I suppose, eaten up by the box, who have the ball just short of the halfway line. Through Reinach, who finds Ruan Nokir, the second row. And Reinach will shape to kick, I think. He's got Mani Lebok there, and he kicks it over his an overhead kick from.
Yeah, it's a terrible box kick that comes off for him.
Comes off for South Africa, exactly as Donnacha says, and then Crowley tidies up nicely, but his kick doesn't get. It's a nice moment with Carl Dixon where he tries to point out to Dixon where his kick went, and he almost said to Carl Dixon, "Come on, man, we've had 5 yellow cards, but 24-13 down. Give us a few more metres.
Give us 6 steps, please."
Grant Williams on for Cobus Reinach. I think that's the full complement of Springbok replacements. It is. Still Craig Casey isn't on. And that's where Jamison Gibson Park, who's he goes 80, doesn't he? And if something was to happen to Gibson Park,
yeah, or anyone at this point, you do have to, with even over 10 minutes left, you do have to keep someone on your bench. But you're right, Gibson Park isn't the guy you're taking off in the moment. He's probably playing two roles at the moment in terms of half-backs. He's all in control of the exits, which unfortunately Ireland are too deep in their half.
Yeah, they are, and they're attacking. Well, I was going to say they're attacking. They're really kind of just recycling in their own 22. And Prendergast's kick, it's solid, but they can't really get out, can they, Ireland?
Agreed. They look shell-shocked as well, Chris, to be completely honest. And it was a point you were asking earlier on about South Africa. Why do you kick there? We see Ireland over the last while trying to run it out from there. Very little reward, uses up massive energy. I think this Irish team probably need to simplify things and just try in whatever way they can between the halfbacks, get out of this position in the pitch.
Because the Boks can just go to their maul. They are winning so many penalties that they don't even hardly get up there through Nokia. Now Grant Williams is under pressure from Kieran Prendergast. There's Tyke Byrne all over that ball. He's robbed it, and then it's lost. It's back on the Springbok side, but Byrne did get a clean steal, and then it got ricocheted back into South African possession. Still 24-13, still just an 11-point game as Marnie Libbok. That looks a handy kick. Test of this for Sam Prendergast, who went up Aussie rule style, didn't get it. Back goes Gary Ringrose. Brave stuff from Ringrose, diving on the ball, saving the day, and then almost wriggling out of the 22. Gibson Park, Finlay Bealham, but yeah, the bodies aren't moving with a huge amount of energy, and understandably, because they've just been smashed from pillar to post by the Springboks.
Yeah, and as a forward there, you really look to your halfbacks to nearly mind you. Get us out of here, find a way.
Libbok, another towering kick, pitch black Dublin sky as Ringrose comes up. Porter juggles with it and does well there, Andrew Porter, but it's all forwards out there for Ireland, so they might try and stretch. A lovely ball out to the far side, and Tom Farrell, and then kicked by James Lowe, charged down by Colby, and then Colby's going to kick for himself. Cheslin Colby racing after this. Ireland in a bit of trouble here, but Crowley's done amazingly well. Oh, what a breakout from Jack Crowley. That's got the Aviva
taken in,
up off their seat. Prendergast spinning it wide, and then smashed downfield. Gary Ringrose, and look at the body language, Ringrose. He couldn't have given any more.
No, he looked outside and Tyke Byrne was, please kick this down the pitch.
High kick, tap back by Gibson Park. Sam Prendergast, oh no, chance here. Canan Mooney's onto this, and then they're going to have a look, I feel. Crowley got back, and if Crowley batted it dead, that could be a penalty try. They will check this, but Jack Crowley, he's got a knock on.
Goal line dropout.
So a goal line dropout, but that's one of those where you feel there might be a bit more to see when you look at the replay. Oh, the first knock on was, Crowley's doing that, but the knock on first was by South Africa. Donica, what's your take here?
Yeah, agreed and great. You know, Chris, we haven't spent too long chanting about it. The refs made the decision, and the game's back on.
And it's marginal. If we see three replays and we can't tell,
and slow it down so much, you know.
Really, really clever that from Prendergast. His goal line dropout only went a few metres, but it was taken by Gary Ringrose. Really skillful that from Sam Prendergast, and now he's looking to move the ball. Tom Farrell wide pass to James Lowe. Oh, Cheslin Colby was almost onto that, and then Lowe picks it up and Colby sits him down. It's carnage out there, isn't it?
Oh, it's one of the golden rules against a blitz. Never have a floating long pass, you know, and Farrell on the pitch and throwing that type of a beach ball over. I know he sees the space and wants to get it there, but he can't do it against players like Colby.
8 minutes to go, 20 seconds left. I'm trying to remember who the latest man in the bin. Paddy McCarthy's the latest man in the bin. 5 Irishmen, a third of the team, have gone to the sin bin. Craig Casey's getting some game time on for Gibson Park, and now Paddy McCarthy comes back, and Josh van der Fleer, who's always getting sacrificed. Brilliant. Josh van der Fleer's done nothing wrong, but he's only going to play 60 minutes today because he keeps getting.
It might be one of those ones, Chris, that you nominate yourself to go off.
Yeah, it's probably best to lose a flanker, isn't it? Especially, I can't add much in the scrum, can I? Kind of
Who'll
thing.
go? I'll go.
Yeah. Look, I know Hansen's bed limped off, Mac Hansen's limped off, Crowley's played a lot of the game at full-back. They've had 5 yellow cards. It's been a magnificent effort from Ireland for this not to be a blowout score, but the damage it'll take physically on these players.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think, I admit it and set piece and we chat about it, but the physicality, Chris, it really does test you. We spoke before the game, you know where this one is coming, you know you're going to be in black and blue and bruised tomorrow. This Springbok team have brought it to another level, and look, I know I'm a fan of set piece, but I think it's so important because we end up with these type of players, like we end up with positions for everyone, a sport for all, and I think that's something, as someone that loves the game probably worries about. Of course I want it to be played quicker, and I want it to be played faster, and I want it to be more entertaining and enjoyable, but I also want to see these type of people out in the pitch.
Well, any number of South Africans could win player of the match. They're just flashing up Malcolm Marx, Jasper Wiese, Cobus Reinhardt, Feinberg, Mngomezulu as 4 options. The crowd in good voice, a lot of South Africans. Look how many flags can you see? What a great trip! I mean, what a great trip! I think there's probably a lot of expats over here or over in the UK that have thought, "Oh, Dublin, get over there." Oh yeah.
I think Sweet Caroline has basically liberated every South African in the stadium to get up and show appreciative there.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, a friend of mine, Jason, and his dad, Sid, they were over on Thursday just to get maximum prep.
Brilliant.
They said they were doing some work as well. So
how do you get that one past at home?
Yeah,
Fair play to them.
They were. It was a business trip, of course. So,
of course.
South Africa making. So I don't know how the. Well, because they've so I think Grobbelaar and Lowe have both come off injured. So Thomas du Toit and Malcolm Marx coming back on to keep the scrums competitive. So South Africa have kind of got their 2 of their starting front rowers back on, and they have the line out, which Marx will throw inside. And that's actually, Marx is bandaged up as well, so maybe he's come off for blood at some point too, as James Lowe feeds Van der Fleer after Ireland nicked that line out. Paddy McCarthy trundles around the corner. 7.5 minutes left. Ireland 13, South Africa 24. And the question is, Donica, is if Ireland have the ability to get out of this part of the pitch and craft something down in South African territories. Prendergast's got nowhere. They haven't really got any shape, have they?
No, not at all. And they've probably gone away from it a little bit, Chris. Like we were saying earlier on, these are exit areas. You just get out of them. Unfortunately, you are behind on the scoreboard, but there's no reward for this type of play, personally, I feel, and especially when you've different players in different position. We're looking at Gibson Park now on the wing with ring rolls going off. It's like as if they're a little bit rudderless and they've lost real shape.
So Casey's going to do the kicking, is he, off his left boot, and that's a box kick to give Lowe a chance to compete against Colby. It's back in on the Irish side, and it's a penalty to Ireland, so they will get a chance to move into South African territory. Really useful penalty, and they're a try away from taking this to the wire, would you believe? It's hard to imagine, but Prendergast can he get much distance on a tight angle? That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a decent kick.
Really good.
Yeah, and he's frustrated as well with the touch judge for not going further. Look, you don't want to highlight players, and you feel really it's difficult in Ireland at the moment to chat about Sam Prendergast or even Jack Crowley. It just leads to an awful lot of stuff on social medias and people rowing, but there is a different area that he needs to step up in, and that's managing the game. His game management. Everyone will chat about his defence, but in those moments, Chris, that's the big job of your 10. Look after your forwards, get them out, and that's an area of growth.
Well, Ireland, would you believe, have field position. This has been such a courageous effort from Ireland. There's a slip there as Kelleher goes up to the 22. Snyman slipped, and there could have been an opening there for Ireland to make a line break. They're only 20 odd metres out here, Donica. Ireland 13, South Africa 24, 5 minutes to go. What can Sam Prendergast spark? Nice little ball, short ball to Cian Prendergast. The Prendergast combining. Craig Casey goes left then right. Byrne, Kelleher, nice offload. Caelan Doris He's a bit isolated though. They'll fancy this, the box on the floor. No, Doris stays firm, but it was knocked on. Yeah, it was knocked on by Ireland at the ruck. Got themselves in a position where they were just starting to move South Africa around in defence. But South Africa will have the scrum, and you kind of know what that means.
Come here with your captain.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few afters here between R.G. Snyman and Jack Crowley.
You take your team, trust me.
Matt Carley, what's he deciding here?
There was a knock-on the floor by their player, but players screaming in players' faces on the floor and celebrating something like that is not tolerated on the field, so it'll be a penalty. Don't do that again.
Oh, he's going to penalise South Africa. Wow, okay. Penalising South Africa for taunting.
Do you know what? Of all the decisions we've seen today, for me that one is the harshest, I think. Because we see it all the time. Like, I don't mean to, but Saracens are renowned for it. Other teams cheering misdemeanours by other teams. I would love it if that became the norm and we didn't see moments like that in our game. But it's really rare it gets penalised.
Yeah, it must have been something specific. It couldn't have just been celebrating. It must have been sort of blatant kind of unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, they have a penalty on it. Kick to the corner. They're 5 metres out. Can they maul South Africa? Surely not. Everyone's on their feet around us. They're only a metre out. They're going towards the touchline. Josh van der Flier spins infield. They are inches short, the Irish. Craig Casey digging for the ball. Short to the right. Up to the line they go. They're practically on the line, Paddy McCarthy. Craig Casey, numbers left. They've got to show a bit of composure. Caelan Doris, good clear. Van der Flier there for Casey. Casey to the left. Sam Prendergast. Tom Farrell. Oh, there were numbers to the left. They couldn't quite link the Irish. Craig Casey right. Finlay Bealham 5 metres out. Offload. Casey then throws a ridiculous ball. But there was a penalty advantage. He knew there was a penalty coming. And Matt Carley is giving a yellow card to South Africa. And you can tell what the crowd think. Ironic applause as if to say, oh, they could go in the bin too. RJ Snyman, the Leinster man. Fantastic noise around the Aviva.
Quite an important person to lose as well. If you look at it, Chris, Ireland with an option now. 11 points down on the 5 metres. Do you go? You surely can't go scrum. You have to go line out.
Especially with Snyman out. Matt Carley, he's talking to Peter Steff, who's the captain now.
Contact at the line out. That was one incident on its own. We then had an offside on the line, but the TMOs told me there was a player in touch before that. Because it was for multiple infringement, he will come back, but it's still your penalty.
Yes. On the 15.
Okay, Keane, can you send him back? Yes.
15.
Okay, that's a very interesting call.
Penalty over here.
Basically, the play should have been stopped because Ireland were out, so then the next infringement doesn't count. Which is, again, it's fair, isn't it? Basically, they played an extra couple of phases too many because there should have been a stoppage for the ball going out of play. So,
well, Snyman on his 50th cap has just got the ultimate present.
He's got a present, and the Ireland fans are thinking, oh, even when they get a yellow card, it gets scrubbed off. Ireland will tap and go. 24-13. Ronan Kelleher to within a metre of the South African line. Finlay Bealham to Josh van der Flier in that red scrum cap of his. He's repelled by the green machine. Craig Casey, Caelan Doris. It's been a formidable performance from some of these Irish players in remarkable adversity. Can they get a try to keep the game going right to the 80th? Again, rocked back in the tackle by this physical South African side. Physical barely does it justice. The power at the possession of the box. Stepping out the tackle there is Jack Crowley. And they bust through the ruck through Cian Prendergast, 6 or 7 metres out. Craig Casey to the left. Conan Prendergast is hit hard in the tackle. Excellent defence again by South Africa, who won the penalty. No, it's going Ireland's way, the penalty. Penalty Ireland. And now actually there could be the yellow card for repeated infringements.
That's true.
There it is, yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, this is... I've seen many games like this. It's been amazing to commentate on. 24-13, South Africa man down. Grant Williams in the bin.
Oh, quite a unique game, Chris. You're 100% right. Honestly, if Ireland can find something here, it's the greatest win since the Mighty Ducks.
Kelleher, they pick and go. They're up to the line. They've got another penalty. A bit of composure now, and surely Ireland will score. They've got numbers to the right. They're on the left-hand post protector. Aki wants it, so does Crowley. Casey digging for the ball. Sam Prendergast, what's he going to do? A wide ball to Gibson Park, who tried to pick it up and couldn't. And this is what I know they are absolutely shattered, Donica, but this is where an Ireland team of a couple of years ago maybe just has that bit more composure.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. I think those moments, but these are the steep learning curves, and you know, you look at the halfbacks, they're the areas that you need to learn and improve on, but you can't question the endeavour. It's been amazing by this Irish team.
Ronan Kelleher has just driven into the heart of the Springbok defence 3 or 4 times. He's done it again there. Casey Diggs forwards to the right. One of them is Captain Doris, who's trying to lead from the front. They've only got 30 seconds. They have to score literally now to have any chance, but it's then been lost. South Africa steal it, and the Boks come away with the ball. And Ireland's last hope has gone, or has it? They've counter-rucked, and Casey finds Doris. Sam Prendergast, he tried to get that ball going to Gibson Park. Gibson Park, who's playing on the wing. He throws a Hail Mary ball. Colby's got it. But there was an advantage, was there? Yeah, there was a knock-on by South Africa. That might be the game, actually. Do we have time for the scrum?
There is time for the scrum.
There is time for the scrum, yeah.
Oh, Sam. I think the Irish backers say no, there's not time for the scrum.
Well, South Africa are going to win here.
We believe on field.
And they've always had the edge on the scoreboard, more than the edge. But how Ireland have stayed in this fight is a real credit to Andy Farrell's men. And they've got one more scrum for Beelan, McCarthy and Kelleher. And I know they'll be playing South Africa next year, but then they can not face this Springbok scrum for another year, can't they?
Yeah.
They're like, one more scrum, then you get a year off.
That's it. That's like the end of pre-season, Chris. You're there. This is the greatest time because it's the furthest point they have to do it again. But you mentioned it there. Of course, the result isn't probably where this Irish team would like it, but as a former player, you would be so proud of how this Irish team have stood up. They've stayed in the fight. They've showed all the bits of character. Of course, they've come up against a bigger and stronger pack, but you can't fault their endeavour, their want, and the things you spoke about there that Andy Farrell would kind of put down as no talent moments. You can see an awful lot about this team, and you can see why they actually they represent the country so well. There's a lot to like about this team.
Yeah, definitely going forward, this Ireland team are going to stay competitive. The challenge, I suppose, is getting that accuracy that was once their hallmark.
Yeah.
And knowing that they've been at times pulverised in the power game. Rassie Erasmus very animated in the coach's box. He'll be seething if South Africa concede. They've conceded a free kick. Craig Casey has tapped and gone himself and run into the Springbok forwards. Not particularly advisable, but he's done well there, has Casey. Now Ireland drive on again through Paddy McCarthy. He's making some good ground in the close quarters, is McCarthy. Bundy Aki, we've not seen too much of him in the second half. Now he sets it up. Casey to the left, ball out the back. Gibson Park almost got it. He's scampering around trying to make something happen. Gibson Park off his wing. He's on the wing because Ireland have had so many injuries. And Colby eventually whacks it away and hands aloft from South Africa. Damien Delandi pumping his fist, hugs from the box, and Ireland understandably take a knee. Because that is 82 minutes and 26 seconds of Test rugby and a physical challenge like maybe never ever before.
Yeah, it's been quite a remarkable game, Chris. It's nearly hard to sum it up. I haven't seen a game like it. We've had all the moments, be it in discipline, which there was plenty of, but I think we got the right calls in the main. But I think what this South African team have shown today is, to anyone questioning them in World Rugby, if you're not coming with a dominant set piece, you're in trouble. And to be fair, Ireland brought loads of desire, loads of want, but they simply don't have that mass when it comes to answering scrums and finding a way, and this South African team certainly did, and it was a dominant performance and a good win. Of course, you'd be usually proud of that Irish team. They stayed in the fight and they found a way and they reflected themselves really well, but I think World Rugby has been put on notice. If you're coming after their crown as world champions, you need to have so much to your game.
100%. Just to mark your card, Sports Extra, Anthony Yards boxing tonight, that's at 11 o'clock. If for your sins you want to listen back to the highlights from the Ashes, that's coming up at 8 o'clock. Australia winning in remarkable fashion after England's batting fell apart again in Perth. But we've got all the Ashes highlights of our brilliant TMS coverage from 8 to 11. So the sport keeps coming on Sports Extra. But Donncha, just to try and wrap this up, South Africa win by 24 points to 13. Ireland had 5 yellow cards. One of them was upgraded, James Ryan, to a 20-minute red. Injuries, players coming off, players coming back on. They stuck at it manfully, didn't they? And that will be something for them to cling on to. The way they stayed in a game that they could have been blown out of sight.
Absolutely. And look, I feel bad saying it, but you would never question this team on that. They always go out and show that desire. The worry for us, Chris, and you mentioned that France, now South Africa, England coming, like, have teams seen what we've seen tonight? Have they seen it in the past, what France do? Being genuine, I don't know. Will we ever have the answer to that type of a game? And that's the worry for, you know, some of the other countries when you look at the dominance, especially when it comes to set piece. And you know, you've been usually successful, and you want this team to do well, but you just wonder, is World Rugby moving ahead at a ferocious rate? And if you haven't got such strength and depth, you're in trouble.
Because it feels a bit of deja vu from the game we did in March, when those French forwards came on and just pulverised Ireland around the fringes. And Ireland in their pomp had such a, you know, beautifully cohesive style. It's not that their attacking game isn't what it was. I think that's probably not a controversial statement. So as game as they were, and as courageous and heroic as they were to physically withstand, that mismatch physically was still there. The power game, the set piece. So does that leave you a bit concerned for Ireland going forward when we talk about real top table World Rugby?
Yes, absolutely. The only hope for me in it is Andy Farrell and his ability to coach to find another way. We were successful. Other teams, everyone has known if you can't win the set piece battle, you're in trouble. But we always had the answer, and then we had this find the best way to describe it,
like a layered kind of attack.
Exactly. Everyone's an option. It's quite rugby league like, and then you pick the right things. I think we saw that in parts, but I think that's something that has dropped away from this Irish team a little bit, and I do believe that can improve under Andy Farrell, and it can also grow. I also think with the advancements in the kicking game, fielding balls is something Irish teams do really well. You know, with the GA background, I think that's an area we can grow at. But I think what we saw tonight is South Africa saying you can have all that, but if you haven't got set piece at our level, you're in trouble.
So let's talk a bit about South Africa before we go off air, Donncha. Don't always get a chance to see them up close and personal in the flesh. Watch them a lot on TV with their exploits in the Rugby Championship, but when they come to a place like this, they put on that kind of performance and actually could have won by a lot more, couldn't they? To Ireland's credit, they didn't, and in part Springbok wastefulness, but the tools they have when you align their power game with the quality behind the scrum, it's formidable, isn't it? It's a generational team.
Exactly. And look, it always gets trashed out who is, you know what I mean, the best team ever, and you know, everyone compares them to that New Zealand team. Well, if they go on and like they're doing now, look at a three-peat in terms of Rugby World Cups, at this point in time, you wouldn't back against them. But it's for the others to evolve, isn't it? Like, they're setting the standard now, and I think that the powerhouses, the likes of France and England, they really need to look at what they're doing. I think they are in ways, and the manipulation of benches and different things like that. But if you do the exact same as them, they're going to win. You have to find something different. You have to find a point of difference, and maybe that's what Ireland had over the last few years. We probably have to go in and redevelop that and find some other thing, and maybe that isn't the kicking game for us. But for the powerhouses, I think what South Africa are at, if you can't come in and match it, you know what I mean? You have to be better than it.
Yeah, you can't come and try and play South Africa's at their own game. You'll just get
absolutely.
Up, yeah.
I think they have too much in it, and they have too many quality individuals. It's a big thing, Chris. If you look at that squad, he could probably change that for next week and still go out and put in such a massive performance.
So a word on Ireland, Donncha. They've lost 3 times now at the Aviva in the last 12 months. New Zealand, France and South Africa. No disgrace.
Yeah.
But before that, they hadn't lost in years.
Yeah.
So they've lost 3 times in 28. They won 25 out of their last 28 at the Aviva, but those 3 losses have all come in quite close succession.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I suppose if you want to look for excuses, you can say the likes of, back after the Lions tour, an awful lot of players missing, not a whole lot of game time and maybe leggy, but I think you're right. I think there's an underriding kind of team around this squad at the moment that they might be aging or coming over the edge, and only they can answer that in terms of finding a way to kind of put that right. It tees up for an incredible Six Nations, because I think this Irish team, we're going to have to see a bit of evolving and a bit of a changing of the guard. Chris, we simply can't do it on the masses of other things. But Paddy McCarthy, I think, is a good example of it tonight. I think he really did. And he has kind of shown kind of green shoots of someone to kind of put in. Unfortunately, what we need is to hotbed. We need more players. And look, it's right that the Leinster pathway leads to more of those players playing, but we need more Ulster players, more Munster players, more Connacht players. We have to have greater depth and greater competition for places, and right now that simply isn't the case.
Well, Donncha, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Really, really great, and let's do it all again soon. We've seen some epics in the Aviva in 2025. And this one we'll remember for a while. Carnage, chaos, and as is so often the case these days, it's South Africa who emerge victorious. Final score from the Aviva. Thanks so much for being there with us tonight. Ireland 13, South Africa 24.